All right, so welcome back, everybody. Thanks for sticking with me.
Glad you're feeling better.
Yeah,
We tried not to be another pain in the neck.
no, you guys are great.
All right, so Dan's on his way to the cottage, so I'm assuming that he's not playing tonight.
All right,
He may
cool.
show up on the on this phone like he did last time, but he's currently in transit. So
Okay, no problem at all.
okay, according to his wife,
Yeah, that's
it
a good
looks like
one.
he's not planning to play. So okay,
All
we'll go from
right,
there.
excellent. All right. So when we last left off, oh, so many weeks ago, we had a situation where the heroes of Sandpoint, had ventured towards a goblin outpost that had learned the name of. It was called Thistletop, and they had consulted with a local expert on the goblins, and they learned that Thistletop was an island off the coast north of where Sandpoint is, north of the Sandpoint hinterlands, and it was on the northern part of the Nettlewood. So the instructions that she gave was to go to the Thistle River. This is the share the map. The Thistle River, and then follow that into the Nettlewood, and then from there you try to pick up a goblin trail or some kind of game trail to take you to the coast to try to find the island where the goblins have their stronghold. And there's from what you learned, there was something of a forced gathering at Thistletop. Everything from a captured, disgruntled former resident and relative to the owner of the Rusty Dragon Inn, her brother Pseudo. According to his notes, there was some sort of celestial woman on her way to becoming some kind of demonic entity, and there was a gathering of a force of goblins and a couple bugbears, a creature by the name of Malfeshnikor, whatever that is. And apparently they have some pretty nasty plans for the town of Sandpoint. So as soon as it was possible, as soon as Sheriff Hemlock came back from his visit to Magnamar to secure some more fighting men, the heroes of Sandpoint set out to the Nettlewood. After about 2.5 hours on the road, they came to the Nettlewood, and they followed the northern Lost Coast Road to the Thistle River, and then followed along the river until they came upon looks like a little goblin ambush slash guard site, but they got the drop on the goblins for the most part and vanquished them. So we're just standing in the aftermath of that battle right now, collecting their. The group is collected up. Let's see here. The gear of the goblins, what they wanted to salvage. They're assessing their injuries, that sort of thing. Um, I will throw you on the map, Mims.
Is the cart part of what we brought, or
No, the
is
cart was already there.
it in working condition?
No, it's quite damaged actually, and it's fairly recent damage. It's damage within the last 10 days. Let's say the campaign itself began. If you click in the calendar, The original campaign began on the 23rd of Rova. It is now the 2nd of Lamashine. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 days ago. So roughly around the same time. It looks like this cart was dragged in here. The wheel's off. If anyone was like a good woodworker, you could probably repair it. But in your estimation, it probably hasn't been there for that much longer than that. Maybe 2 weeks at most.
It's like Arch DM. We're demobilized.
The area here, it looks like it's fairly well traversed. But beyond this little trick, this is like an offshoot of the Thistle. This isn't the actual river itself. This is just kind of like a trickle off the side path. You're probably about maybe 1/8 of a mile into the woods. You had to estimate probably about 1.5 to 2 miles towards the coast. From here, faintly, when everything's really quiet, you can hear the surf in the distance.
I assume there's a clear path from this camp back to the Thistletop camp, the main camp.
Is the clear path from this area here back to the road, to the Lost Coast Road.
Okay, but not to the main goblin camp.
If you follow it a little further, I will let you know what you find.
Okay, I will try and track it anyway.
Okay, so if you check for some tracks around here,
Mm-hmm.
You find a lot of goblin activity. It's pretty obvious. You can shoot me a survival check.
Yep. Add 1 to it as a tracker.
All right. That's probably the extent of what you see. You do find some signs that there was occupants. This cart had an owner within the last couple weeks. It's obviously not attached to it anymore. There's some signs of blood stains. There is
Human tracks?
It's been 2 weeks, so you don't see any human tracks or anything like that, but you do see like a couple handprints that managed to evade the weather. You also see signs that there was 2 horses at the front pulling the cart, and their harnesses has been cut, and it looked like there was one at the back for some other animal, perhaps a horse. It had also been cut.
Are there any horse bones in the fire?
No, you don't see any horse bones in the fire.
Okay.
Do we notice the other character that's not on our group, or not yet?
Not yet. But she notices you.
Yeah, well, we're a ragtag crew. We're easy to notice. Hard to forget.
So let's see here. Just going on base numbers. Yeah. Okay. So, Mims, where you are, I'm not sure what brings you out here, or whether you have you live out here, or you live somewhere and you're traveling from one point to another. But not far from the Lost Coast Road, north of the town of Sandpoint, on the way north to Windsong Abbey, there was the sounds of a battle in the distance. It sounded like a pitched battle. It ended quickly, and you can see figures moving in the distance. What you heard was some goblinoid screams, and you were well aware that goblins are common around here, so you're wary of them. But then you also hear the sounds of the common tongue being spoken in deeper voices. You hear the whinny of a horse. You hear some sounds of some wood breaking. Maybe the odd curse from a gruff voice that might be a dwarf.
Do we all have horses, or is it just my character?
Everybody
No,
has horses.
We brought horses. We all dismounted except you.
I gotcha. No.
So, yeah, you can also see a line of horses kind of tied up, probably about 100 feet back of where you can see the figures moving around in the brush off to the... There's a clear area in the Nettlewood that you can see into right now. You know from perhaps experience or just traveling past it that that's not always the case in the Nettlewood. It's usually quite
horses
dense.
Look like they're well tended and cared for?
Yes. And it looks like they're fairly fresh, too. You know that the town of Sandpoint's less than 3-hour ride away from here.
Okie dokie.
We finished gathering up all the goblinoid stuff, distributing what stuff we needed to do. I guess we're going to leave the rest of it in the wagon for now.
Okay. What about the goblins themselves? Doing anything with them, or are you just kind of letting nature take its course?
I was going to say, the vines can have them.
All right.
We'll get the one out of the water. Just
Oh yeah, don't pollute the water. That's true.
Okay. This looks like just like a little tributary side stream kind of.
Throw them under some of the trees.
All right. So you're taking a minute to. It's fairly easy work. Goblins are small. They're light. They're easy easy bodies to stow.
Yeah.
You guys can let's see here. Are you trying to? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, please. If you could drop that in the dice tower for me, that would be lovely. So it'd probably take about another 10 minutes at most to deal with the aftermath of the battle, get yourselves all situated. And as you're doing that...
It'll let me drop it in the dice tower.
Oh, what?
No, I just angles.
Ah,
I have to make it light up to you.
there we go. Okay. Everybody can give me a perception check.
I see nothing.
I'll do one
I
for...
see less than nothing.
I see one from the paladin.
I see it all. I'm not small.
Yeah, you do.
And...
You're pretty good.
I hate that I can't see what it did.
Yeah.
I hate that I can't see the roll.
It's unnerving. Let's see here. Oh, look at this. I didn't notice this before about Ratatouille. Okay. Yep, you feel free to move him where you like. He remains undetected. Or she. We should, I don't know if it's a guy or a girl.
I haven't gendered it yet.
All right.
It's all
I
good.
assume the flow of the waters downwards, yes? Or
Yes, towards the
South?
yes, towards the north. Actually, I believe. No, it is towards the south. That would make more sense.
Yeah, after we move the dead goblin, I'm gonna have Shadow dance for drink. from the safe end of the water.
Yeah, for
Yeah,
sure.
there's the two goblins, the one there and the one just at the edge of the water. Pick those somewhere. Okay, so the goblin camp is likely to be on water. So if we follow the stream, if we don't know where the camp is, we're following a trail right now. If we, I'll continue to try and follow it, but I'm assuming they'll be upstream of the water because they'll need to be near a water source.
You know for a fact that Thistletop, I think it was described to you as an island just off,
Oh, that's right. It's an
like
island. Sorry.
like within a stone's throw of the coast.
Yep. Yep. I forgot about the island. All right. So we should. So this.
And
if we
and
follow
this
river
this
down,
this path just before the Thistle River, this creek where it meets into the Thistle River, Shillelagh had told you that this was the easiest way to go. She said probably at about another couple hundred meters, this trail, as far as her instructions go, breaks off into several different footpaths, some game trails. But she said if you have a tracker worth your salt, and she looked at Rampa, you should be able to
no
find.
pressure.
You should be able to find the goblin footpaths and
Okay.
follow them to Thistletop.
All right. Well, if we're done here, let's see.
Yeah.
I'm as good as she thinks.
The answer is yes to that.
Okay.
All right. So actually, precisely.
Okay.
Okay. All right. So you guys set off, taking any precautions, gathering your horses, leaving your horses.
I think we're going to take him to the coast.
Okay.
But taking precautions, yeah, now that we've already run into goblins once, we'll be doing periodic checks both ahead and behind.
What are you guys going to set up as far as you going to have like advanced scouts on foot, on horse? What you're strategizing?
I guess I'm going to have to go first because I got to do the tracking.
Are you going to go on foot? It's
Combination.
harder to track on.
On horseback. No, I know. So a combination. If it looks like I've got a lead for 100 yards across the field or something, I'll ride across that. But you're right. I'll be doing a lot of it on foot as well.
Okay, kind of leading the horse, and everybody else behind.
Could see anyone that's not horsed. If there's an open horse, that I'll take and lead with Shadow Dancer
Okay.
as my trail horse. Because I think the one that he gave all of us, I think we brought that as a trail horse for gear or anything we need to carry. So we have one extra horse with no rider, plus anyone not riding.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Let's get a couple. Are you taking pains to move particularly stealthily, Rampa, or are you just kind of making your way through the brush?
Well, I actually have a stealth. So if it's through the brush, I'm probably leading the horse.
Okay.
As opposed to riding across the fields if we know where we're going. So yeah, I will be trying to do stealth. I'll give you a stealth roll. You want it in the tower?
Yes, please.
I thought there was a catch to that.
Did the cat person leave after the battle?
Oh yes, that's what I wanted to play up. After the battle, Purr began scratching at her arm again, and it looks like another patch of hair has fallen out. You know what happened last time with the patch of hair? So she gets quite
500 gold.
Yeah, so she gets quite panicky and says, "Well, I know where this place is, and I'll come and meet you if we get this deal dealt with." She's not sure if what she dealt with before has come back or something else.
She's allergic to goblins. That's clear.
Yeah, could very well be. So she gets on her horse and she heads back.
Can we have your potion of healing before you leave?
Did she take a potion of healing?
I thought so.
Let me find out. If so, then yes. Let me party sheet that. There we go.
Yep.
All right. She says good luck, and hopefully I'll see you soon.
Okay. So where we are. Okay, party sheet.
I should actually have
Just-
Alendrill and Ratatouille go with him too, but that would be yeah, that would be a nightmare to write back in. So they're following along. So we got that. Rampa.
Does everybody have a potion of cure light? If you don't,
uh,
Randall?
yep, I've got one.
You can, okay. So we'll leave it in the party for now. Then we can distribute to whoever needs one when we go on. But that's fine. I just want to make sure we've all got something right now.
I don't have one, but I have lay on hands, so I probably would yield to whoever else doesn't have.
Well, take it for now because you can always stuff it in somebody's throat,
Yep.
especially if you are out of lay on hands. You may need those for combat.
All right, so I'm gonna get a survival check from Rampa. You can do that out in the open. The DC is 14. Okay,
Thank you.
and
No
I'm
wasted effort.
gonna get you to roll a D4 for me.
Okay, that's actually a 15. I keep forgetting to add the one for
That's
bragging.
okay. All right. 4.
4.
Okay. So you find what you think is this footpath looks quite wide and stuff like that. It ends after maybe about another eighth of a mile. So you're about a quarter of a mile into the Nettlewood, and you see several other game trails go off. A couple are quite clearly they're traveling east and west. It looks like they're deer crossing, stuff like that. But you see three specific paths that have indication of goblin travel, and they all seem to be traveling north and south. As far as picking out which one goes where, you're not 100% sure. And you know the destination from where you are is north. So you choose one of the 4 trails. The trail that you choose happens to be a meandering, winding trail that makes its way in a northerly fashion by way of some pretty gnarly terrain. There's a lot of thick nettles, a lot of small ravines, things you have to kind of double around. But eventually, after about 4 hours, you can hear clearly the coast.
Okay.
Give me a roll, man.
Another survival?
No, I'm gonna get a survival roll from Mims, please.
Oh, sure.
Yeah. Okay, and I'm gonna get you to roll a d4 for me.
Did you take the same path?
Okay, so as you're going, and you're kind of following along, it's probably about an hour, 2.5 hours in. You find it's almost like it's like a wet spot in the woods that probably shouldn't have been there unless there's some kind of underground spring or something like that. You don't find any indication of it, but it joins up with one of the goblin footpaths that you had kind of bypassed the first time around, and it seems to head probably in a more northeastern direction. So you can stay to the same trail that you're working with, or you can go to the northeast.
Northeast. How far away does the coast sound now?
You're probably at about the midway point in your journey.
Okay. So, do I think that the first path I was tracking was more goblin hunting party
It was
or
probably
stealthy?
Yeah, it was probably a path that the goblins use in a less direct route to maybe go around and hunt for animals in the area.
Yeah.
Just by the way, it seems to meander around. Like you're going northeast one direction, then you're going back to the southwest.
Yeah, that's
After
what I
kind of
thought. So
like a loop around. And
I'll change path.
okay, you change paths, and I'm gonna get you to give me a stealth check, Mims, in the tower, please.
Yep.
All right. So you change when you change paths, and you start moving along this other trail. You notice that the nettles aren't quite as dense here. It doesn't seem quite as windy.
Okay.
Up ahead, you see almost like a flash of movement, almost like a pale blue in the distance, and it's there for an instant, and then it's gone. It could have been like a feathered bird or something in a tree, but it was like a brilliant blue color.
Right. I will turn back and warn the party that there's something. I think there's something up ahead. I'm not sure it was cloth, bird, whatever, flash of blue, and but it's there and gone. So whatever it was moving. So keep alert.
Okay.
Do we get to perceive, or are we too
Yep, you
far
can
away?
make. You guys are probably, I would say, probably 20, 30 yards back or feet back. I would say generally it's probably about a round or two. In order for Ramphead to do his stealth stuff and give him a bit of an advantage.
That's my perception.
Okay. Gotcha. You can give me a survival check, though.
And as I continue, I will keep checking that same location that I just saw.
Okay. Your survival check by the patch of almost like a pool, a small pool in the middle of the path that shouldn't be there. You see a footprint.
And does it look like a goblin footprint?
It does not.
Oh, it looks like more. Is it booted?
It's definitely. Just give me 1 second. It's definitely medium sized.
Is barefoot or
Barefoot,
booted?
yes. Barefoot.
Barefoot.
It's medium sized, but kind of dainty. Perhaps,
A
perhaps
barefoot
maybe
female?
maybe elven.
Elven, okay, but it doesn't seem to be shod though. So
No, definitely not. Not wearing any shoes.
and not like not Haveling.
And it looks like it was kind of dug in so it could sort of sprint off.
Yeah. Okay.
And then where the ground is more dry, it becomes more difficult to see traces of that footprint.
Okay.
It looks like somebody probably fairly adept at bushcraft.
Yeah. Oh, I get that. And this is about the same place that I saw the flash of blue.
You see the flash of blue up ahead on the trail, maybe just off by 10 or so feet, and it's just a glimpse. It's just like a
Yep.
maybe if it was a bird, it was like a peacock-sized bird. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
But it was almost head high.
Yeah. So it's probably not a bird. So again, I will warn the party, keep an eye on, and I'll tell them about the footprint, and then carry on.
In addition to all of this other stuff, you see prevalent goblin trails as well.
Yep.
Okay.
We're getting close to the coast now, so we should be prepared for goblins anytime.
Yeah, for sure. So you're probably about half a mile or so away from the coast by the time you get close enough to start hearing the crash of the surf and the waves through the the thick nettles of the trees and the forest and stuff like that. You can almost feel the mist from the coast. Everything's kind of like damp. It's what time of year is it?
I rust my armor.
Yeah, it's early October, so it's still warm. But it's kind of like that fall is in the air. The leaves are probably about a month away from changing. Everything's kind of like just waiting for the winter to come.
If it's a bit of mist, it's probably good, because if it's that hot in armor, metal armor,
Oh yeah,
you can
for sure.
appreciate a little bit of cool.
Exactly. So you get a little hint of it, and then you come to an area that you suspect is quite close to the coast. So let me just bring up a map for you, then we can. Let's see here. Okay, so it would be here. There we go. All right. Allow me to place you on the map, and I'll manipulate you a little bit first, because so we've got, I'll move you off the map. Let's see here. Let's see.
We're going to get a new map, so I should kill this one.
Yeah, you can kill that one. That one's fine. Okay, it's a little tricky. I have to shift click a lot of things here. All right. Okay, Rampa. What I'll do is all right. So I'm going to share the map, and hopefully the line of sight doesn't give everything away. So everyone's going to have slightly different perspective. I've got the lighting turned off. So from where you guys are, the main group, you should be able to see like a passageway leading up ahead to almost like a crossroads. And the other party should be able to see not the main group, but you can hear them coming. So you've kind of taken a secondary path.
Which direction are they from here?
From you, they are to the left. Rampa, do you see what I've described? How's your how's the visibility on the map for you? For your token. Can anybody else hear me?
I hear you, and from my
Sorry.
top-
No, I heard what you said. I was on mute.
Oh, okay.
I have a TV in the background. I can see about 3 squares left, about 5 going up to 7 north. I see what seems to be almost like a door or a wooden heavy thing, and I see the crossroads.
Okay, great. All right. So we're going to drop a description into the text.
Oh, there we go. Yeah.
There we go. All right. So we've got the briars and thistles that grow so rampantly in the Nettlewood are even more dense and tangled here, close to the shore. Although not quite dense enough to block the sound of waves crashing on the unseen shores to the west, The undergrowth is certainly thick enough to block sight and access the coast. Few trees grow this close to the edge of the sea, but the briars themselves often reach heights to rival them. Here, the patch is nearly 20 feet high. So, do you golf a lot? Did you ever go golfing, Rampa? In Canada, we have these. It's almost like they have them in the British Open too. They have like these gorse bushes, and they're like 10 to 15 feet high and like 30 or 40 feet long, and it's just a giant thicket of. It's almost like a wall, essentially, of just thorns and briars and stuff like that. And you can get in there and move, but it's extremely slow going. Like we're talking, if your character actually got like in one of those thickets, you'd probably be moving at like 5 feet around, struggling.
Yep.
You'd probably be getting a whole bunch of thorn cuts and that kind of
I've
stuff.
seen the heather. I've seen the heather in Scotland, so it's like that, only higher.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Is the area that I see clear? Is it also got that, or is it just the surrounding area? And this is a little clearing.
This is just the surrounding area. There's a little clearing up ahead.
Right here. Okay.
Yeah.
That's fine.
The area to your right, directly, that's
Heavy.
thick thicket, and the area that you can't see past directly to your left, also thick thicket, and up ahead as well.
Yep.
Give me a perception check from where you are.
Okay. Just hang on a second. Accidentally shifted this on top of my character. Okay, there we go. You want stealth?
No, just a naked perception check.
Oh, perception. Okay. In the tower.
Nope.
Okay.
Okay, and that little area that you saw that looks like a door, it almost looks like a patch of nettles and branches and stuff like that woven together to block what looks like that path heading north.
Okay.
And it's about 8 feet tall and probably about 10 feet wide. You can't tell how thick it is from here.
Right. Does it look like there's anybody manning? I'm assuming this is some sort of security gate. Does it look like there's anybody manning it?
You don't see any signs of like a humanoid habitation or anything like that. There's lots of birds and insects and stuff like that.
And do tracks go up to it?
Yes.
Okay.
Without a roll. This is that's a 0 DC. So
Okay. So you want me to move?
I want you guys to do whatever you guys want to do.
In character,
Oh.
Alexis asks, "Hey Rampa, should we dismount and be prepared for action here?"
Yes, we should.
Actually, somewhere on the trail, probably about 50 or 60 yards back, you found there was a decent little opening if you want to store your horses.
Yeah, sounds good. I don't like horses.
And I
Yep.
I feel like these are going to be tight quarters. Probably dismount and let Sundancer lead the horse gaggle.
Okay. Kind of like to be the guard horse.
Yeah, I could say leave your horse in
Actually,
charge.
give the command, guard, and point to the other horses. If it follows, goody. If not, I'll never know. I won't be there.
Well, wait till you can talk to him, then he can tell you.
Yeah, give a carrot to the horse just to move it back. Stay put.
Hey,
So
that's rations.
Just give me 1 sec. So it's going to take you guys a few minutes to settle that. You guys, 'cause you have to backtrack a little bit, and you want to set up, make sure that everything is kind of safe and situated, everything's secured. Just give me 1 second.
Yep.
Also, leaving the lance on the horse, not hauling that thing around.
Okay.
That makes sense. Should be logical, but
Why wouldn't you bring your lance with you?
it's meant to be on horse.
Don't you
Might
use
be a
your
little
Lancelot?
Yeah.
You realize that horse could have been the best fighter among us.
I do, but I also have a feeling it's going to be tight quarters. And
Well, and he's probably got the worst armor class too.
Well,
So
yeah, no barding on him yet. So
yeah,
That
barding
was
isn't that expensive for what you. So I'd do that if I were you.
yeah, at level 1 it was.
Well, there's that too. Magic barding is expensive, but not the standard stuff isn't too bad after level 1.
That was a bad whisper by me, by the way. You can all see that. Let's see here.
Oh, was that aimed at me or not?
No.
I didn't think so.
You sent a text
Okay.
to the person the text was about.
All of us hear this whisper in our head makes no sense whatsoever.
Hey, I believe it. I believe it, even if I don't hear it. That's why I was asking about that tree limb across the top. It looked like it was some sort of gate or some sort of doorway.
Probably mid-afternoon, maybe a little later.
It's probably about sometime between 1:30 and 2:30.
Yeah, we had an early start, remember?
Yeah, you had an early start, and it was only 2 and change hours to the river, and then probably about 3 hours from there, and a break here and there. Yeah, you're probably looking at just after between 1 and 2 o'clock.
Yeah, the fight only took about
Yeah, a couple rounds. It was over fast.
three rounds, maybe 4.
It always takes
Yeah.
longer to set up and clean up after a
And
fight
it does the fight. Yep.
than the fight itself. But all right, so you sort yourselves out. You get your horses all settled.
Who was carrying the ears of the goblins we defeated?
I would imagine it would probably be Alandrill. He seems to be about the most mercenary about collecting the bounties.
I'm certain he would have remembered to mention that he did so.
Yeah. I'll have to tell him, don't get captured. They find all those ears on you, they won't be happy. Yeah, I'm
Okay.
gonna have to mind. So one of the things you set up was that chat room too.
Yes.
So if you need to talk to one of us without the rest of us hearing, just click on that and move you both into the chat room.
No, it's okay. This shouldn't take too long.
Okay,
We're
I got it. Yep.
yeah, we're good. I think we're at a point where we need to be. Okay, so you
I
guys.
understand.
All right, excellent. So, you guys set yourselves up. Are you taking any precautions before you're making any plans or doing anything?
Well, I think we're going to go into combat formation because we can expect to be attacked any point at this point.
What is your combat formation? Do we have an established one?
We kind of.
Let's
We have,
Imagine Rump and I in the front. That would make
Yep.
sense, right?
If it's a double trail, well, it'll be both of us in the front. If it's single file and we know it's combat, it'll be the paladin in the front, me behind him, because I have reach weapon. We can both attack.
okay.
Actually, if it's single file. Cleric probably in the middle,
Yeah.
and then the spellcaster and our rogue at the back, because the rogue can come forward if he needs to, or he can use his bow.
All right, sounds good. Something like what we see on the screen now.
Like
Yeah,
our
except
rogue
we lost the
disappeared.
rogue.
Oh, okay. The rogue is.
There you go.
That was him hiding.
That was
We're
him
good.
hiding. Yes.
He did a really good job too. Okay, and we're there. Just move myself
I'm
up.
pretty sure if Ratatouille were here, he'd want to run ahead. 'Cause I think that's what he did last time a few times.
He did. Okay, we can let him do that if he wants to.
I don't want to get him killed though.
He can if you want him to. That's his forte. He's quite good at these things.
And he
Okay.
does have a catchphrase that might sound similar.
Yes,
Yeah,
and
I'm
he
a
is a
rat.
wizard. A rat wizard. Do you want him just to go up and investigate?
Yeah,
and
do a
then
quick
come-
inspection.
Sure.
and come
okay.
back. Yeah.
All right. So let me do a couple rolls to myself, and I'll describe any mayhem that may ensue.
And then he can glance down the passageways to the trails. And then, assuming there's no problems, we'll go up.
Do you guys want to see the rolls, or do you want me just to see them?
No, go ahead. It's fine.
All right.
You can give us fog of war,
Okay. And let me see here.
unless they're really bad.
Looks clear.
And okay. So Ratatouille, you don't hear him at all. You're all poised. You're hunkered down. You can hear each other breathing. Everybody's tense. People have got weapons out, distance weapons. Maybe getting ready for something just in case. Ratatouille gets up to the little intersection and he kind of stays to the left a little bit, and he gives it a look to the left and a look to the right, and boom, like a dart, he darts across to where the where the
Fence,
quote,
whatever
quote
it is, yeah.
unquote gate is, and you don't hear him at all. You're kind of amazed actually that because you're within 50 feet of him and you can't hear his footfall on a uncleared track with leaves and twigs, and
Yeah, he's a rat.
he is, and he's it's almost like every step is perfection where he hits, and he gets to the gate, and he starts his nose starts switching, and his fingers go up to his whiskers, and he's kind of this and that, and he reaches up to the gate, and he goes to touch it. He kind of pokes him a little bit, and he's like, he looks around a little skittishly, and then he whips back. And when he whips back,
The gate opens up and thousands of goblins pour out.
you can you hear a twig break, but it's not loud or anything like that. And he says, "Yeah, there's that gate. That's if that is a gate, it's hard to tell. It looks like it moves, but it's all thorns and vines and stuff like that. It looks pretty heavy. I don't know if I can lift it myself, so I didn't hear any goblins up there. I don't think there's any guards.
And you didn't see anything to the left of the right passageway?
Just around to the bend to the right. It
Yep.
kind of hooks back up in the direction that we came, and same with to the left, but more severe. I didn't see any.
Okay.
I saw it look like a dead tree or an alcove to the left, but I don't think it's anything. It's hard to say. Do you want me to go? Do you want me to go have one more look over there?
Sure.
Okay.
I'm going to move a little bit further up here.
How do we point on the map? Ping up a spot.
There isn't any way to ping a spot.
Yeah, that's the problem. There's no
that
pinging.
is a shortcoming of this.
Oh, okay.
So
So as I
Ratatouille's
moved-
gonna head this way, though.
As I moved up with Rampa, more left and right opened up to me. Okay, he's checking out the left
Yeah.
side. Got
So
it.
let me give you one more stealth check here. His stealth is pretty off the charts. But he gets to this little tree here, and he kind of scoots underneath it, and you can hear some rustling and leaves and stuff like that. And after about 15, 20 seconds, he comes back out. He says, "Just nettles." And he kind of hunkers down right here.
Yep. All right. I'm going to go at least far enough that I can see around the corner to the right.
Okay. Mims, can you give me a stealth check, please?
Hmm.
Oh,
You want
Are
it in
we-
the tower or open?
Nope, out in the open. And I'm going to get Rampa to give me a perception check.
Perception check. Yeah, I knew that was coming.
are we in a situation where light is an issue, or is it still daylight? And
It's midday. It's midday on a
even
br-
in the tree covering area, we're still good.
yeah. It's a bright autumn. It's a bright late summer, early autumn day. Okay,
Okay.
let's shift you around there a little bit.
So it seems clear.
It seems clear.
And what is the thing I can't? That's more brambles on the
Yeah, so
right?
you see, it looks like
Northeast?
the trail continues to
On south, yeah.
to the right, and then kind of doubles back.
Okay. And this is like a heavy bramble thing, like it was on the other side. What looks like bones.
You can go up and look at that if you want.
I will.
Yeah, that is a dead tree.
Okay. Just like the other was a dead tree.
Yeah,
Okay. All right.
it's almost like the skeletal remains choked out of the nettle bushes. It's kind of like a
Right.
dead nettle.
Come here. Just look.
And
And the path just continues. Okay.
so doorway or around each side, left or right path is our options, right?
Well, I think the paths go back the way we came. Remember, there were 3 different trails coming in. Some were easier to travel than others.
Gotcha.
So I think they're all coming in here. So I think this is the only way in, straight through. Let me go out, take a look at it.
All right, let's get a perception check from you up close.
Yep.
Alendrell here, cough to the side. All right. Let me just get a perception check for Alendrell. Okay. So that area, even though it looks like it's fairly natural, you spotted it. It's not perfectly disguised as nettle. To the untrained eye, to some rube in Sandpoint, sure, they would have walked right past it. You guys are pros. You've seen maybe not this before, but you've seen goblin tricks. It looks like they've cobbled together some sort of almost like a door that you would just kind of pick up and lift off and shift it to the left or the right to move beyond this little wall of nettles. You can almost see through it. It's almost thin enough for you to see through, but not quite. You could kind of make out the other side of the path, but not quite.
All right. I'll ask if Alendrell can check to see if there's any type of an alarm or attachments, and this thing will go off.
Okay. And you also note that there's a lot of thorns and a lot of brambles and a lot of...
Yep.
It looks like it would be difficult to pick up and move without perhaps damaging yourself if you did it hastily.
I backed up to give him room to work. And we're doing, I see Alexis doing like Overwatch, like keeping eyes peeled for trouble while they're working on the door.
So is Alendrell content? There's no nothing trapped or nothing will be alarmed when I move the door?
Let's see here. What does Alendrell come up with? Perception. I think he gets +1 to his for trap finding. So I don't see any alarms or anything.
Okay.
You probably have to maybe move it slowly to keep it quiet. It maybe
Yep.
why don't a couple of us? Will you get on the one side? I'll get on the other, and we'll try and shift it.
Yep. We'll do it very slowly. I've got gauntlets for my breastplate, so it protect my hands somewhat.
Okay.
Leather gauntlets. I don't need metal. Okay.
Okay.
We'll try and gently working a little bit to see which gives the least resistance, whether it goes up or to one side or the other, and then when we know that, just a steady move in that direction.
Yep, and you've got you probably have gauntleted hands. I don't know, like leather gloves.
Yep.
Alan Drill's a little more. His work's a little more delicate, so he's taking a little bit of extra time to get a good handhold without getting anything poked in his hands. Alexis, you kind of do a glance around as you lock eyes with Ratatouille, and you look back the other way, and you see blue. You see blue, and then you notice there's a person.
Hey guys, there's someone behind Ratatouille.
No, to the right.
Oh, to my right.
Yeah,
Okay.
you locked eyes with Ratatouille for a minute, and then you look back the other way, just instinctively to check.
Guys, there's somebody over here.
All right, I'll stop doing what I'm doing.
Alendril kind
Signals
of
Alendril.
drops down and
Start moving that way.
looses his silver dagger.
She places a finger over her lips and then motions the direction behind her and then starts to walk.
Okay. Oh, she's walking away from us.
So what did we see? I saw
Yeah.
blue, but is it
Okay,
See,
I'll follow.
a small size, medium size?
Medium size, not nearly as tall as the nettles, probably closer to 5 foot, blue skin, and it just looks like her hair is like, you know how the models have the beautiful floaty hair all the time? That's what you see.
It's not that windy in here.
So
It's
clearly
not that windy in here.
Not a goblin. Got it.
No,
It's
elfish.
Do you have knowledge nature at all,
I
Alexa?
don't, but I do have sense motive.
Okay.
I guess, my gut feeling is if there's a threatening or friendly natured behavior.
Okay. Give us a sense motive check.
I
See-
know it's, another player.
Exactly,
Our
but
characters don't know that.
no,
Yes.
exactly.
No, but when we get in within 60 feet of her, you can find out if she's evil. That'll help.
Yep. But for now, we're just going to go with the gut with sense
Yep,
motive.
sense motive.
Oh, it's evil for sure.
Yeah, and,
Mine might have been better.
Ramp is like for sure.
Very suspicious. That's
For
not what
sure,
we
this is
expect.
it's a trap. Ratatouille.
We're about to go on goblins, and we see a blue creature, and that's
It's
we're investigating.
the blue creature is very it's almost like it almost looks like a nature spirit or some kind of
All right,
it's
I'll
not
hold up
your
my hand.
typical townsfolk, you know.
Moving here.
Hold up my hand to say, stop.
Pointing to where I saw.
So we then wave between the two of us, indicating we can meet.
And she continues to put her finger on her mouth and then point past her.
So I don't see you on the map.
Okay.
Or are you still hidden? Or
No,
Yeah,
no, I can see her.
She's back a bit this way.
Way to the right.
Is it
Oh, I
up or
see.
down? Which way? Does it matter?
Yeah, you probably want to go down. Up is towards danger.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'll continue following, but I'm going to tell everybody be on high alert. I don't know if this is friend or foe. Okay.
And Ratatouille disappears into the bush.
He's always doing that.
He is.
Okay, so you stopped. Ah. Can we talk here?
Probably, yeah. The wall of nettles that you guys had been up against is still fairly close. You probably want to retreat down this trail a little bit to the south to avoid giving yourselves away. Let's get stealth checks from everybody too as you walk through. I mean, actually, no, don't worry about it right here. Good enough. If you're making a concerted effort not to bang pots and pans and stuff like that, that should be good enough.
Well, she held her finger to her lips, so we're believing that.
I'm good not rolling the stealth roll. We don't need to embarrass ourselves.
Sure, I'm pretty sure you're really good at stealth.
You're welcome, Darcel.
Fantastic.
All right.
Not too bad.
That's not horrible. It's not the end of it. Don't forget, you've got crashing waves. You've got breeze through the forest.
Yep.
The sound of seabirds in the sky, insects.
And
It's-
somehow there's a light wind.
Yes.
Well, having a +3 with medium armor on isn't bad.
Are you want us to?
no, don't
No,
worry
you
about stuff.
Okay.
Don't worry about it.
Oh, good.
She's not hiding from you. She's just kind of leaning back further into the nettles, just
Yeah.
trying to be smaller.
Just
what
to
what
make
brings
sure
you
your
here?
voice doesn't carry.
We're investigating the goblins. Is that what brings you here as well?
You're looking
who
for
are
the
you?
island, right?
The island, yep.
Then don't go through the gate.
Okay.
No,
What do
you
know
think
about the goblins?
you think that the goblins who live on the island probably would go through the gate. Sorry if I wasn't clear enough on that.
No, the goblins use the gate.
Do
Okay.
Don't
you
go
know
through
a
the gate.
different way to get to the island around this brambles maze?
And she points at the one who was tracking. He followed the water, didn't he?
Yeah, for the most part.
I know how to get there. Without the goblin eyes.
Without going through the gate?
Yes.
Oh no, you don't.
No, I don't know the way without
No.
going through the gate.
No,
I
sorry.
have to go through the gate.
Yeah, there.
See, that's what I asked earlier. I was like, is there a way around without going
Oh,
through the gate?
okay. I
Yeah.
misunderstood. There is a way, but it involves scaling down a 100-foot cliff, traversing some roaring waves, and scaling up another 100-foot cliff. Which may be okay for you.
Oh, I could
But
probably
not
do
the
the
rest of
scaling.
Yeah, exactly. There's a way down to the beach below, and it's not far from where you guys are. But the beach below is almost a sheer vertical cliff, and it's between 120 and 60 feet, all up this coastway. And you know that if you've seen the island from maybe like a few hundred meters away from here on an angle, and it looks like it would be a doable climb if you were a pretty good climber. But you also know that the goblins have strung up a bridge, and the bridge is somewhere at the end of this path.
Going
This
through
path
the gate.
being here, or going through the gate, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Okay, so who are you?
It's a difficult question.
Eh? Why are you here then?
Why would one not be in their own home?
This is your home, the Thistlewoods?
Here, there, everywhere.
Okay, so you coexist with the goblin?
No. They like to bite and burn.
Ah,
Will you aid us in fighting these goblins in your home? You may not be aware, but these goblins attacked Sandpoint. That's our home, and we're here to end that threat.
There's like a weird flash of green that kind of like moves through her hair, and then. But she nods. We can help you.
okay. What's the easiest way to get to the island then? You say through the door? Is there an easy way to get through the door?
Well, the cliffs are easier, but
Well, we have a couple of people that might find the cliffs a little difficult.
Yeah.
Indeed.
Especially the one that we require to help us in a fight. He does our healing, among other things.
Yeah. You put me on a horse and now you want me to climb cliffs.
Do Dwarves aren't really good at climbing or riding. So he's already done one today. We'll try and keep him away from the other.
Did you mention a bridge?
Mm-mm.
No? Okay.
All right. Well,
She kind
then
of seems to ponder. The gate is the hard way, but if you can't climb a cliff, then you need to be careful.
all right. Well, careful's our middle name sometimes.
Do you know how many goblins inhabit the brambles in this area?
Well, usually,
Accurate answer. That's a question.
yeah, you
Right, right.
you know that for sure, 20, 30, 40, depending on. They're always coming and going. Don't know how many are around at any given time. You know that
There's
With
8
it-
less.
within the last couple weeks, there've been a lot of coming and going. There was a big group that left out a little while back, and a little smaller group came back. You know that there's quite a few, and they have goblin dogs as well.
Mhm.
The goblin dogs are terrors in the Nettlewood because they'll just run right through the brambles without any regard for themselves.
That's not nice. All right. You suspect there'll be goblins between the gate and the bridge? Or you didn't tell us about it, between the gate and the entrance to the island?
Yes, the gate. The cliff to the bridge to the cliff. Yes.
All right.
And the Mims, as far as the visual, if you just look at the Pathfinder Adventure Path decal in the room, you see the adventurers up on the side of the. That's pretty much what it looks like from another angle to the south. You can kind of see that rope bridge that the goblins have strung up. You can see their wall of nettles. And then they've got like it looks like a fort of some sort made out of wood. Looks like maybe salvage planking from a lot of ships and stuff like that may have run aground over the years.
Have
Got
you
a
seen
couple little
creatures-
watchtowers and stuff like that.
Have you seen creatures accompanying the goblins that aren't goblins? Like other humans or others that stand out?
How risky is your behavior around the goblins? Because you know they're quite dangerous.
Not very. Anytime they're close, she'll go up the tree.
Okay. You may have heard voices in the last couple of weeks that haven't been goblin, and you think
What,
it's
like
yeah,
sounded like more human or dwarf.
probably human. And you think that maybe a couple weeks ago there was where you first saw these guys. You saw the broken down cart and the carnage from the battle. There may have been a goblin ambush at some point, which and there may have been some humans there that got killed.
We suspect
Any prisoners?
It could have been.
Perhaps they tend to eat things.
we suspect a half-elf is aiding the goblins, and there's a pact of some sort uniting different tribes. That's what we learned from our ranger friend.
That there is the space station.
That's
Fully fledged.
would be bad.
Right, it's odd. That's why if you had seen the goblins accompanying other creatures, it would be helpful to know if they're here or somewhere else. We also heard of a bugbear. That was on our list, right?
Yes. You have a name for the bugbear too, if you.
Right. I'm trying to do it off memory.
Oh, yeah, I'll save you. It's Bruthasmus.
Right. That's right. Because Shalelu mentioned him.
Yep,
Yeah.
mentioned him specifically, as did Pseudo in his letter.
Yeah, we have actually the journal is in my inventory.
Yep,
So,
for sure.
yeah.
Did you want to read it over just for fun? just to kind of catch everything up? Or I'll give a dramatic pseudo reading. This is pseudo scribing in his diary 3 weeks before everything went oh so wrong for him. Or actually, or this is probably about a week and a half. The campaign started 10 days ago, and you guys went into the glassworks like 2 or 3 days after that, right? Okay.
Yep.
So in between the raid on Sandpoint and you discovering pseudo, he wrote this. Well, first he wrote a letter to his sister to lure her to the glassworks. Killed his father. Covered him in molten glass. And then wrote this. The raid went about as planned. Few Thistletop goblins perished, and were able to secure Tobin's casket with ease, while the rubes were distracted by the rest. I can't wait until the real raid. This town deserves a burning, that's for sure. Ripnugget seems to favor the overwhelming land approach. And an aside, Ripnugget, you know for a fact, Mims, is the leader of this Thistletop goblin tribe. And actually from Shalalu's notes, you guys know that as well. Ripnugget seems to favor the overwhelming land approach, but I don't think it's the best plan. We should get the Quasit's aid, send her freaks up from below via the smuggling tunnel in my father's glassworks, and then invade from the river from the glassworks in smaller but more focused strikes. The rest, except for Bruthasmus, agree, and I'm pretty sure the bugbear is just being contrary to annoy me. My love's too distracted with the lower chambers to make a decision. Says that once Malfeshnikor is released and under her command, we won't need to worry about being subtle. I hope she's right. My love seems bent on going through with it. Nothing I can say convinces her of her beauty. She remains obsessed with removing what she calls her celestial taint and replacing it with her mother's grace. Burning her father's remains at the Thistletop shrine seems to have started the transformation, but I can't say her new hand is pleasing to me. Hopefully, when she offers Sandpoint to Lamashtu's fires, her new body won't be as hideous. Maybe I'll luck out. Succubi are demons too, aren't they? So ends the musing of Suto Kaijitsu.
And the Quasit is no more.
The Quasit is no more.
We deposited the Quasit in the mine.
Deposited the Quasit in the closet.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, we did have the closet. Oh, yeah, we have a free reroll. I remember that now.
That's right.
We may need it shortly.
May need it very shortly.
So with that telling, does that ring a bell for any information here? And this is us just asking the blue elf, which we don't know a name yet.
Yeah, so the blue elf knows some of that, snippets. She knows Ripnugget is the name of the goblin war chief. One time when she thought she was trying to spy on a goblin procession through the forest, this is maybe a few months back. She may have seen Ripnugget riding something, but it was getting close to nighttime, and it was hard for it. It seemed to be like he was riding some sort of long, low kind of creature. She knows that the Thistletop goblins generally think themselves superior to the other goblins, and that every once in a while, seeing other goblins in the area, other goblins from other tribes, is unusual. And there's been she's seen other goblins from the bird cruncher tribe lately, and it's you can hear them coming from a mile away. They're out of sorts in this element. This isn't their home territory. And she can kind of hear them talking. I don't think she actually understands them.
We're not.
When you talked about riding some low creature, was it like a lizard or something like that?
Perhaps.
Okay.
That's what she knows about Ripnugget.
It's not, but it wasn't a dog. He said it was lower.
Yeah, it seemed,
Longer.
maybe even insectoid, or maybe reptilian, maybe a crocodile. It's hard to tell.
Might have known if it was a reptile.
Yeah, it's true. And you, okay, good point. It was a giant gecko.
A gecko from the get-go. All right.
Did he offer to sell her car insurance?
He did.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, Mr. Gecko. Okay. I think the next thing we're going to have to do is we're going to have to go through that gate.
You can lead them to a spot where they can get a good look at the side of
This cliff.
of the cliff, yeah, before the sun goes down. It'd probably take about 20-25 minutes to get around through the nettles and get a decent vantage point. And then probably say like 20. It would cost you about an hour or so to go wind your way around, get the vantage point, get a good look, make an observation or two, and then come back to here if you wanted to. Otherwise, it's about a half-hour trip to get there if you unpack your horses, take them with you, that kind of stuff.
Well, our goal is to convince these goblins to leave and not bother Sandpoint again. We think the negotiations will unfortunately require the use of our weapons. Are you in and willing to help us?
He tilts her head a bit as if she's listening to something, and she gives a nod. We will
Great.
help you.
Alexis looks at the others, be like, well, she knows the area, so let's take
How high is the cliff?
Are you gonna go and look? Or
No, I'm just asking her.
okay. It's anywhere between 70 and 100 feet. Various spots. If there was like a lookout point that she was going to take you to, that one's probably about 80 feet.
Is it sheer cliff, or is there spots we can settle in? Like, I've got 50 feet of rope and a grappling hook.
Okay.
So
It's
we can get down that way, but if
You
it's
have to
80
go
feet
down
straight
and then
drop,
back up.
yeah. So getting down isn't the crazy hard part. It's probably about a DC 12 climb with the loose rock and the wetness from the sea, that kind of stuff. And it's fairly sheer. It's probably I don't know. Maybe you've got a slight grade going down. It's not.
it's like a 12 going down, but it's going to be like a 20 going back up. Is what you
Yeah.
told me.
To the
No.
eye, we have to make your way along, and there's not much beach at all, if any, in some spots.
Yeah.
You're looking at swimming.
Yeah, that's. I can actually swim as well, but I'm not sure that my dwarven friend can do much with that. So I think we're stuck through the gate.
I'm not prepared to do intense climbing either, and probably wouldn't do so well at it armored up.
Oh, if I took my armor off, I'm a 9.
Ratatouille pipes in and says, "You're a Sandpoint 9 at best."
All right.
You've
I
never
think
been
we
to
have go back
Magnemar.
to the-
All right.
That sounds like Ratatouille. Good. Extra points for staying in character.
Yeah.
So
So let's go back.
Ratatouille's got like a stick in his mouth, like a twig that he's picked up and he's chewing on, and his little rat teeth are going like really fast.
What kind of twig is it?
It's some kind of. It's like a nettle. He's got like a long, thin nettle, and it's just like a real thin, branchy kind of bark. And he says, "What kind of stuff do you do? I'm a wizard."
There it
If
is.
you chew too deep on that, it will make you sick.
I don't think so. Well, maybe it will. It's got this funny tasting sap. This will make me sick.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. What other stuff do you do besides tell people when they're going to get sick? Because Darcel's a cleric, and Lex is a warrior. I'm a wizard.
Okay, thanks.
Alan Drill's a rogue. Ramp is a woodsman. What kind of stuff do you do?
So do you remember vaguely?
I have to use this line. Speak for the trees.
That could be handy in a situation where you're surrounded by trees. Is that the best place to go in? It's the only place to go in, is it?
For our party, yeah.
Unless you wish to take the cliff, but it does not seem like you wish to.
No, I can't swim. I don't think
You should
Ratatouille
try
can swim.
floating then.
Are you familiar with any dangers at the water level that we need to be aware of?
It gets there's all kinds of creatures in the Gulf, the Verisian Gulf. You probably don't get down that way too much.
The cliff slows me down.
It's not so much the down part; it's the back up,
Yep.
and the tide. It's pretty remorseless here. It can drop 15 to 20 feet over the course of high tide, low tide.
Depending on how warm the water is, depends on how many teeth there are in it.
And this time of year, it's still fairly warm.
I like no teeth in my water, thank you.
Then you don't wish to go into the water now.
Yes, let's not do that then. Thanks for that advice.
Okay. Well, let's see if we can get through the gate, because I would prefer to get across that bridge before it gets dark.
So, assuming that you guys don't take the extra hour and go and do a visual on what you can see from the fort from the side, from like maybe a quarter of a mile or an eighth of a mile away, if you want to do that, you can.
Yeah, we can do the eighth of a mile.
You do the eighth of a mile? Okay.
Sure.
Okay, so Alan Drill and Ratatouille will stay with the horses, to make sure everything's cool and kind of watch out for in case any goblins come out or anything like that. So you go there, you get a good look at it from the side, and it's kind of like it's around. By the time you get there, it's definitely between 2 and 3 in the afternoon, and it kind of like, from the angle that you're looking at it now, it almost looks like. Give me a perception check. Everybody who's there.
No tower?
No tower.
Who's at the bridge?
Yeah, no, you guys are down the coast a little bit, kind of getting a sidelong look at Thistletop itself.
The island.
Across at the island. Mims, you've seen this a bunch of times. I'm going to whisper something to you, and you can share it or not share it.
When we are traveling, I whisper, I'm Alexis, what should we call you? To our new companion.
You speak Draconic.
No, I do not.
It sounds like there's a little bit of...
I have not had the opportunity to learn it.
There sounds like a little bit of growling coming from her, and she says, I am Mim.
Min it is then.
And the little bit of growling that comes from her, it doesn't look like, unless she's a ventriloquist.
It doesn't sound like her tones.
Maybe one day I can learn Draconic and learn to properly pronounce your name appropriately. For now, it'll be Min.
You do not need to know Draconic to speak my name.
Good question. At one point,
Okay, so
at some point, I might learn Draconic.
It's on the to-do list one day.
She'll pause at the vantage point and kind of tilt her head and look at the island.
yeah, you can't quite see it at this time of day, ma'am. But you know that there's certain times of even the day or the season when the sun hits it just at the right angle. It almost looks like.
Yeah.
But what you guys observe from your off to the sort of southeast, the same angle as the visual for the decal for the room, where it says Pathfinder Adventure Path, that kind of thing. You can see that there's a couple towers beyond a rope bridge, a rope and plank bridge. It looks like around the outside of the island is a fairly low bank of thistles, and then it looks like a little bit of clearing here and there, and you can see distinctly through the clearing what looks like a wooden fort. And unless you had like a spyglass or something like that, it's really difficult to tell the exact dimensions of everything. But it looks like it's probably 100 feet across and 100 feet wide. Ballparking it, you'd probably judge the gap of the bridge itself to be 60, 70, 80 feet. You can definitely 100%, now that you're on a different part of the island, you can see from the same side that you're on, you can see the smoke from a fire drifting up from the brambles that you would have went through had you taken the path. Not exactly there, kind of more in your direction than kind of like to the south side. Looks like there's it's not like a massive fire by any stretch of the imagination, but now you can clearly see it drifting up from this that rather massive nettle patch. You can see a couple small beaches to the side that you're on, but they don't look like they lead out to the island. To get to the actual island, which is almost fairly sheer, it almost looks like someone rolled. It's like a giant stone in the water that comes up out of the ocean, and you know that the ocean's fairly deep. So how deep down this goes, you don't know. But the beach is on the mainland side where you're on, and it might extend 5 feet or 10 feet at most, and maybe 50, 60 feet left or right before it stops, and then you'd have to climb up along the wall and stuff like that. It looks like if you were to move along the coast instead of being up on top where you guys are now, it would be fairly treacherous. Not impossible, but fairly treacherous. To people who weren't equipped to like climb and swim.
Kind of what I thought.
Every time I look upon his grace, I still do not recognize his face. And she just continues walking.
Okay. Are we heading back toward the gate?
We're past the gate. I think.
You guys can
Had we got past the gate?
yeah, you can head back. Yeah, you guys were at like just a path that kind of led around to the southwest a little bit, so you got an angle to look out over at Thistletop.
Yep.
It looks like our best bet to get there is over that bridge. In order to get to the bridge, we have to go through the Bramble. There's no other way. Is that?
Yep.
That-
and we're gonna have to
that's
carefully
about
lift
the
this
assumption.
gate. Yep.
Okay. So now it's probably around 3:30 now. You know, for this time of year, you probably have between 3 and 4 hours of sunlight left in the day, and it's still pretty warm. It's still
Okay.
doesn't look like there's any bad weather rolling in. It's a pretty pleasant day. There's wispy clouds up above. You're probably looking at a solid 75.
All right. Well, get a little help here. Either Elendil, there we go. And we'll again start to gently lift this thing up and move it.
Anybody putting on spells or anything before anybody starts or anything? I'm gonna take this opportunity.
Mage armor on
Yeah,
Ratatouille.
Ratatouille for sure. I'm gonna look for.
Because he keeps forgetting that.
Let's see here. Oh, he doesn't have it ticked off here.
Already the shield.
According to this, he doesn't have it prepared.
Oh, well,
So he's
I guess he's not using it.
I guess not. All right.
He's feeling lucky.
Okay.
You want a stealth check from him?
Yes, please.
From all of us.
No, just
No.
from.
That one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Excellent. Okay. And we guys are working on that. You think you maybe see a flash of something?
And Alexis, if you're watching, she kind of pushes her hand out, and it looks like something just zipped off the end of her fingers.
And I'm going to do this.
How easily can you move through these bramble walls?
Where did he go?
He's right there.
I
I've
see.
moved him on.
Oh, okay. I was gonna shoot him. I was gonna
Yeah.
shoot him up through here.
Works. They don't listen. They're too thick.
Can you see that?
Yes.
Okay. So he's kind of scuttled through, and he's not like perfect at this, but he's kind of designed sort of for this. So he shoots through and has a look. And do you want him to come back?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I have to reopen the page again.
You
Is he
I was-
overhead? Go ahead.
he,
Where did-
Okay. Is he overhead here complete cover, or is it open at the top?
it's open where you guys are right now.
Okay, because if you
so-
remember, Ratatouille had a bird that he often sends up to
He does
scout.
a wren. But you do notice that up above where you guys are going, it is not open.
Okay,
Okay.
so he can't see anything anyway.
He can see stuff around where you guys are now. So he his bird kind of he'll watch out for the horses.
Okay.
There is nothing on the other side of the wall yet.
Yeah, so you can
There
hear
are no eyes to watch us there.
yeah. You get the all
Right.
clear.
So we will lift the gate.
All right. And the gate opens. Give me I'll have Alendril do a stealth check. See how quiet that was. You can aid him if you want, Rampa.
Yeah, well, just a second. Stealth. I got to get down to stealth. There we go.
Okay.
Nope, didn't.
Okay. So you guys kind of shift it to the side a little bit, probably like 5 feet over, and sort of set it off there. And Alendril ducks down and steps in. As does Ratatouille, kind of follows up behind everybody. Okay, let me describe the interior. Because because now you're kind of moving into it's almost like a cave of thorns. So
Okay.
it's about 4 feet tall. There's a bramble roof up ahead, and it's woven over as much as it is grown over. So you have to stoop down, Everybody has to kind of like bend over and walk low. You can imagine that this is like a goblin playground. And Ratatouille is like right at home here. You wouldn't have any problem running around at full speed. But everybody else, to avoid, scraping your face on the, you scrape in the top of your head on this Bramble's roof, and these walls and stuff like that. I have to put the squeezing condition on everybody while you're moving through these tunnels. So just give me one moment.
Even me?
And yeah, that's even you, Darcel, because you're trying not to
You're
get
wide.
your hair and your beard caught in the nettles and stuff like that as well. If you're medium sized, this applies. So Alendril. So what we'll do is, what I wanted to know is if you guys are able to turn these conditions off and on. That's probably what we should do instead. Are you able to click your condition off and on, your effect?
Oh, I see. Actions.
So click on the combat tracker. If you slide over with your mouse, you'll see the little man, and on effects. If you click on him, it should open up. It should have your commonly used effects on there. If you can activate or turn off squeezing, that's all I really want to know.
I'm clicking on it and nothing's happening.
Nothing's happening. Okay, I must have to do it. Okay.
Went over the.
Hang on one second. Let's get you guys to all put on squeezing on yourself. So I'll take squeezing off. I'm gonna take
This is
squeezing.
obvious how to do it.
What's that?
I don't see. I click on the little man, and I don't see how I can add anything.
Okay, so what I'm going to get everybody to do is on the top, on the far right hand side of the game room, you'll see the combat tracker, the party sheet, the calendar. So below
Yep.
party sheet, there's a little thing that says effects. You click that open, and once that opens up, if you scroll down near the bottom on the left hand side, you'll see all these gray boxes. Yep, just drag that right over onto your character on the combat tracker. And that way you should be able to click on or off squeezing.
Yep.
There we go.
I
Perfect.
dragged it over onto Darcel.
Yeah, I was wondering why it turned off on me. Okay, I'll see if I can get rid of it.
Okay, I'll turn. I'll get rid of ramp as one.
No, I put mine on mine now, too.
Oh, okay.
Okay,
I
so
didn't realize
mine-
I just thought if I dropped it anywhere, it would apply to my character. But it
No.
doesn't. It's applied to whoever I dropped it on.
Exactly.
Okay.
So let's see here.
Works for me.
Perfect. All right, I'll put squeezing on Alendril. All right. So have squeezing on right now as you're moving through the tunnels.
Okay, cool.
Now, Mim, assuming you told her so, or Mim, or if not that, hey, you, do you know which is the fastest way to get to the bridge?
Which path?
So there are, the way you guys are right now, it looks like there is 1, 2, 3, 4, and then from where Alendril can see, it looks like there's maybe a half a dozen different paths. And a 4-foot-high tunnel winds through the dense briars and nettles. The floor is hard-packed earth with patches of wiry plants growing stubbornly here and there. You guys can...
Well, I'm
Yeah,
going to do a tracking check-in first
all
of
right.
all.
Sure thing.
Survival. That's a 20.
20. Okay, so with that 20, goblin tracks. Plentiful. There looks like maybe a dozen here and there. You also note on a little patch of bramble near where Elendril is. It looks like a tuft of black and red fur.
Okay, take a look at it. Is it really fur?
Yeah, it's
Looks
really
like a dog fur?
Yeah,
Okay.
it's really fur. Do you have a knowledge nature?
I don't. I don't do knowledges yet.
As a rule, I don't do knowledges.
Oh, I will
is that
take
you
something
have?
and give me knowledges later, but right now I don't do knowledges.
What is that you have?
It's something I found on the brambles here. Looks like a fur of some sort.
May I see?
Yeah.
If you have knowledge nature, feel free to roll on that.
I think Alendril has knowledge nature too, doesn't he?
Let's have a look. He's got dungeoneering and local.
Oh, okay. He didn't take
Yeah,
nature.
he's more of a city mouse. Speaking of city
That's
mice,
Reb-
what's Ratatouille?
Yeah.
He's got a bunch of knowledges.
But no nature.
Actually, wrong. He has one in there that's just hilarious. You won't see it until the video. But he looks at that and goes, oh no, fire pelt cougar. Oh shit.
Oh,
Is right. If there's a fire pelt cougar in here, we're fucked.
is it likely to be independent of the goblins, or are they likely to be controlling it?
I don't know.
So I'm assuming this is a big cat that breathes fire.
It's it's basically a leopard with just a more distinct coloration.
Oh, a leopard.
Basically.
Yeah, still a pretty
Leopards
nasty cat.
Typically hang out with goblins.
No,
It might feed on them though. That's good.
it might.
Okay.
It would hunt in paths like this, yes.
So, and you don't know which of these trails leads directly to
we
the.
didn't get that far yet.
Okay.
I was poking the GM. I'm like, which way am I going?
Yeah, I don't think you would have ever been in here, Mims, unless you were like a captive. Do we ever captured by the?
They probably wouldn't have let her go.
Yeah, they probably would have eaten her.
Yeah.
Okay.
Unless you have some kind of big escape story in your
Well, I mean-
in your past where the DM gives you the whole map.
There is that, ability that she has to escape, but yeah.
Yes. But to go all the way through this and across the bridge, or even to the bridge, it's going to be thick for you guys. So I can't imagine.
Okay. Are any of these trails wider than the other? Or are they all very narrow?
They're all very narrow. This little area where you guys are in right now is about the closest thing to a tiny little opening.
Opening. Yeah.
Yeah.
Could I-
It's
could
maybe 5 feet tall where you guys are. So like in this little pocket right here, you might get away. If you had to fight something in this area here, I might allow you not to squeeze.
How long ago
Okay.
did you see him riding the lizard?
It was at least a month and a half.
Okay, so the tracks would be long gone.
Yeah. The tracks of even the tracks of the remnants of that skirmish that you came on the aftermath of with the humans was probably it's a couple weeks. So
Well, let's hang to the left because if we go in the middle and we're wrong, we could be converted. They can converge on us from two sides.
to the left is where you kind of thought you, if you had to guess, is where the smoke might have been coming from.
Okay.
Does squeezing limit our speed?
It does. Let me give you the actual game mechanics of squeezing. Let's see here. I'll read it aloud. In these tunnels, this is the 4-foot high tunnels wind through the dense briars and nettles. The floor is hard packed earth with patches of wiry plants growing stubbornly here and there. And the text is, large creatures must crawl to navigate the thistle tunnels. Bipedal medium creatures can navigate them by stooping over and hunkering down, effectively squeezing to move, and thus taking a -4 penalty on attack rolls and -4 penalty to armor class. Such characters must spend 2 squares of movement for each square traveled. Small and smaller creatures can move about normally, as can most quadrupedal medium creatures like dogs and that sort of thing. Yet this little area here where you guys have gathered, it's a little bit higher. Not a lot, but a little bit. Enough for you guys to like kind of come in, catch your breath. Did you want to close the door again, or do you want to...
Yep.
Okay, so you're going to
put it back.
Okay,
Yep.
So we'll close the door. You guys take a minute, go nice and quiet, close the door. Doesn't seem to be any activity here. You can hear the waves. You can hear the wind. You can hear every once in a while. You can hear like a goblin shriek somewhere in the distance. You can smell the smell of smoke. Goblins are around. They're just not really particularly attentive at watching their door.
Okay, well, now is the time for Ratatouille to lead us, since he's unencumbered.
Okay, which way do you guys want to go?
I want to go to the left,
To the
unless
left.
somebody else has a preference.
Okay.
Mim's kind of sitting for a second, just
Yeah, you can. It's hard to know because it's almost enclosed in here. It's not like open to the wind or anything like that. I guess the prevailing wind would probably be coming off the ocean, but it's not excessive. So
even the slightest breeze, she's just trying to feel.
Okay, so Rada, I'm gonna stop and make some stealth checks. And we're going to try and give him like a 30-foot. Just
Lead,
so,
yep.
Yeah, so he's 100% on his own. So he's going to... So he gets up to here. And he glances back, makes eye contact with Rampa. Now that he's kind of up against the nettle, and he's looking left and looking right. And to the left, he points... And he puts his fist against his hand, like coming to a dead end.
Yep.
And to the right, he kind of makes a swimming motion with his hands, like it opens up.
Yep.
So he points to the right. Do you want to go to the right?
Yep, I'll point.
Okay.
Give my...
Okay, he gives you a nod, and he gives you like a stay there.
Okay.
And you see him, and he kind of like fishes his way through a real tight patch. Like a patch that he almost has to squeeze. And I'm going to roll this in the open because this is an important check. Okay. And I'm going to roll a couple things.
Yeah. Perceptions for them.
Yeah. They're not particularly attentive, though. So, let's see here. I'm just going to roll for 3. I don't think there's any chance of him being spotted. No. Okay. So, he disappears for a moment. And then he comes back. And he opens up both his hands and goes 10. And points to the north from that little spot where he is.
Yeah. So 10 goblins. Now,
I'm just gonna take a second, let you guys talk about stuff. I'm gonna take a break for nature and grab a water.
okay, yeah, I'm going to single him to come back to us so we can have a short, quiet discussion.
Okay, for sure. He'll come back. He gives you a bit of information that there's an open room beyond where it's a higher ceiling where they are, and there's about 10 of them, and then there's a fire. Okay?
Yep, that's
Are
good.
they situated where they could go, the sleep spell would be effective?
He says where they are, it looks like a dead end. Um, if you guys had this passageway here and entered through the only way that he saw in, they wouldn't have any way out.
Well, that might be a good way to
He's-
get rid of
He says, I don't
first
know.
crew.
He says the sleep would take care of some of them, but probably not all. And I'll be right back.
Yep. Well, I say if we can sneak up on them and take them, we should do that. I don't want to fight him on the way back. I don't like him having him behind us. And
Yeah.
it's 10. And it's 10 less we have to fight later on.
Are they all goblins, or do they have dogs with them?
Well, we'll find that out when he returns.
Sounds good. I'll be back too.
Ray, did you like the not the chicken name?
Not the chicken name.
I don't know if Ray disappeared on me.
I'm here. Is that the name of your companion?
Yeah.
Oh, Tinder? Yeah.
Because he has a title.
Yeah, the bunny killer, right?
Yes, and it's not a chicken.
Not a chicken. Yeah.
But yes, the name amused me when I was generating. Because it came with the title, and I was just like, okay.
Can't really tell from the picture what it is, though. I mean, it just looks cool, but I don't know what it is.
You want some out of character knowledge or not really?
I'll figure it out. Let
Okay.
me, yeah.
Let you have fun.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, Alexis probably wouldn't, because the knowledge is there. Like, unless it's some kind of religious creature, probably not going to know what it is. Or if it's nobility. Is it nobility?
I'm sure he thinks he is.
Yeah.
What did I miss?
Oh, we're talking about our creature.
That he thinks he's nobility.
Oh, for sure.
Trying to
He's-
identify what knowledge Alexis could roll to identify the creature, and so I was joking that nobility would be one of them. So.
It would actually. I think Arcana is the.
Yeah, he would think he was, definitely.
Absolutely. Bow down before me.
Now I see a boo from Aladdin going burr, 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 burr.
Yeah, definitely be Arcana.
The question I asked was, well, it wasn't me actually. It was Alexis. Are they all goblins, or are any of them human, or any dogs?
Okay, so all goblins, 10 of them. So Ratatouille comes back. Yeah, there's 10 goblins. They're gathered around a fire. I don't think he speaks goblin, but if he does, he may have caught some snippets.
Okay.
He does speak goblin. It just turns out. Okay. He says they're complaining about Ripnugget.
You know, so are we. Okay. Well,
Says,
I
do
still
you want me to go up and listen for a bit? Or do you want
Sure, but I think we're going to have to. Is there any way that we can sneak up close enough that we can barge in there while you have creative distraction? Like, how big is the area that they're having this?
It's 25, 30 feet around.
That's enough.
And it's the ceiling's high enough. You guys should be okay once you get past the front door, the front entrance.
Can we get them to fight each other? Like if half of them are from one tribe and the other half's from another tribe, and maybe they'll argue over Ripnugget and fight each other instead of us having to do it.
Does he have ventriloquism?
He says, it's got ghost sound. Doesn't have ventriloquism.
Make some of them think they're pro Ripnugget and the other like anti Ripnugget, and maybe it'll lead to a bar fight and instead of 10, we only have to deal with 6 or something like that.
He says,
That's pretty devious, but I can't see where it would be all that negative. If Alexis thought of that, I mean, I don't know.
no, I
They're
wouldn't.
gonna die either
That's
way.
just good sound
Yeah.
strategy.
Well, yeah.
Divide and conquer.
Yep.
Without the conquer part. Yeah, he says I've got a couple sleeps. I could probably put some of them asleep before they knew what hit them.
Okay.
I could grease an area so they couldn't get out, but we don't want to impede ourselves.
Nope.
Um,
Let's see how far we can get, and as soon as you can hear us starting to rush in, sleep them.
okay.
The ones closest to the door, and that'll let us get in.
Okay. So he says, just a second there. Let me sneak up.
Yep.
Ooh, that hovered on a 1 for a while there.
Sure did. Taking stealth lessons from Alexis, not good.
So even with the 7, it's still a 22, and it's still impossible for them to actually hear him or see him. Okay. So let me put them on the map.
Yep.
I don't, as
We should probably let
the
Alan
owner
go.
of this module, I don't even know how they're going to lay them out. So this is as big a surprise to me as it is to you guys. Okay.
Let Alander will go first because he's got the best stealth. I think I've got the second best.
Oh, these
Well,
goblins
except for Mim.
have some kick-ass initiatives. Holy cow. You better take them out fast. All right. So Alandril, go next.
Yep, he's got the best stealth.
Okay. So he's gonna have
And
to
me.
come. He's gonna have to come around this way. There's another passage. Do you want Alandril to take that other passage and scout that out, or do you want him to stay with the group?
Right now.
Right
well,
now, don't fuck it
either
up.
way.
I
Yeah, I
think
think-
they'll stay together. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
So we don't know if there's something else down that path. Then our attentions would be split.
Exactly. Okay. So he'll stay with the team and try to make go over to Ratatouille. Let me see here. He's got. So I think these are on skill checks too. The squeezing bit. Let's find out.
Okay.
Stealth. Normally +9. 10. Okay, so it doesn't affect stealth. Okay. So he has a tough time getting through that little doorway, and he kind of ducks down in here. And Ratatouille sees you, Rampa, about to go, and he holds up his hand really fast.
All right. Step back.
And he kind of fades back. Gives it a couple beats. He watches. Okay. He gives you the hand forward.
I have a feeling I should go last. Just thinking out loud here.
Give us a
Now-
stealth roll, Rampa.
Yep. Is the thing that he's aiming? Oh, there they are. Okay. I was going to ask you, is it behind him or left or right? But you've answered that question.
Yeah.
And I'll know right away if my stealth roll's any good.
Okay.
Oh, 13, not too bad.
Okay. Are you gonna get out of sight?
Yep. I want to come into here.
Okay. Great. Grab yourself a square.
Oh, sorry.
Anyone else coming
All
before I
right.
go last?
I'm just trying to figure
Yeah, I
out which
guess
direction y'all went.
They're up top. They went up. I'll.
So
So-
up the same path
yes.
we're on, and then
Yeah.
okay.
Is the square to the left me any good or not?
Yeah. Square to the left of you is fine.
Okay.
As long as you don't get shoved into their great force, you should be okay.
Yeah, no, I just want to do that to hide for now.
Like say an
Something kind of
ogre
brushed
bull
past
rushed
Alexis.
you into that, you'd probably take some thorn damage.
Yeah. No, I just wanted, because I know it this way. I can't see them, so they can't see me. It's like an ostrich, right? I got my head in the sand, so they can't see me.
Exactly.
Something
Who's-
just kind of zipped past Alexis.
Okay.
That works. I have a feeling if once I go through, everyone here is going to know we're here. So get
Or
in first.
Same with Darsel, probably.
yeah, I don't exactly have the best master creeping around.
Well-
Shoot.
Okay, so Ratatouille sees Rampa
When
comes
he's ready,
Yeah, Rampa comes up and gets kind of settled in, and he just gives it a head nod, and then he gives you the okay.
so I'm gonna go right up and.
No,
into-
he was talking to Mims.
Oh, sorry.
Dims kind of moves back.
Okay,
Well,
all right,
wanna
and
go left?
Alandrill,
Want
I
me to go left?
think Alandrill gets a good look at what we're seeing here.
It just kind of wiggles back into the bushes.
Because I think Alandrill might have that. No, he doesn't. Okay, so he's not really sure what he saw there. And into the bushes, got it. Okay.
He kind of wiggling.
All right. So Alexis and Darcel, you guys gonna kind of go at the same time, or gonna?
If we're squeezing, that would be interesting.
It's like a Three Stooges.
Yeah.
Alexis, go first.
Okay, I'll go.
Okay, hurry, I'll fix you up.
Okay, so you can get to the corner passage there without causing too much of a ruckus. But after that, I'm gonna need a stealth check for both you guys, so you guys can get up close to one another and get ready to go, or wherever.
Now, are we in an open area now, or after
It's-
I get into?
After you get into the, actually, this area here is okay. So I'm gonna take the squeezing off you guys, except for Alexis and Darcel at this moment.
Yep. Okay.
So feel free to turn your squeezing off. Okay, so Alexis is into the room, and Darcel's into the room. So you guys can take the squeezing off. And
And when Ratatouille signals that they're still otherwise occupied, I'm going to go charging in.
I'm gonna roll just as a general, the vibe of the
Engine.
room, just to kind of give me a rough idea without having to roll 10 different times. Okay, so so Lexus kind of bursts through, and Goblin 8, Goblin 1, and Goblin 2 kind of do a double take.
Right.
Goblin,
Well,
Goblin
and-
8, Goblin 1.
Yeah.
if Ratatouille sees that and signals me, I will go in right away.
Okay. Ratatouille sees that, and he kind of hears, and then he'll do his surprise round sleep, and then we'll start the fight.
Okay.
Okay.
It actually rolled well, positive number.
Yeah, you did. Shot an 8.
It's the big negative that you have to worry about.
They had Darcel with an 11. They didn't even spot him. He's like a ghost.
I was myself on that one.
So
Well,
this
that's
area,
good.
we're good to stand up. Like no.
All right. So 1, 2,
Darcel with a -6 got an 11. Wow.
Yeah, feel free to turn off the squeezing at this point. Let's see here. I just want to make sure for hit dice. Good. And want to make sure for... Okay, so it's going to be...
Oh, I see. I gotta go back.
Yeah, just want to make sure we've got...
effects.
Yeah, that's all of them, technically, so... All right. Let's start rolling some
do I
saves, and
unsqueeze?
whoever fails first will be the ones that go to sleep. How's that sound?
Sure. How do I unsqueeze?
Just turn off squeezing on the effect.
Click the person at the end of the row, and then it'll.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah.
So let's see here. Where is the save on these guys? Oh, there it is.
Oh, there's a. Okay. I didn't go. It's the little guy at the end of the row. I
Yeah,
got you.
the little man.
Yeah.
And let's see here.
I
And
might
what
as
we'll
well
do
keep-
is we'll get an initiative roll from everybody too while I'm doing this.
Yep. I was going to take the squeezing and discard it, but I think we're going to need it again, so I'll leave it there.
Yeah, you're going to need it again. That's why I just turn it off.
Yep. Go back to main. By my initiative.
And
What are we fighting?
all right.
Nice roll, goblins.
Bum, 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 bum.
All right. So Goblin 2, 1 falls asleep. Goblin 3, 1 guy at the bottom, 1 guy at the top. 7, 1 guy near the back, and 2 guys at the back. Okay, so a couple guys near the far end of the room slump down. 1 guy beside them slumps down, and 1 guy just out of sight slumps down. And let me do Alendril's initiative and Ratatouille's initiative. And
Wow, you guys all got up in the 20s. I'm impressed.
yeah, goblins are no joke. Sometimes they're quite a joke. Okay, so Ratatouille, I think. So okay, so start round 1. Does anybody have like a half action that they want to take before we begin the actual round? Because you guys had surprise.
I'm going to go
Or
to
we
there.
consider
If you want to move
action-
in, or you want to like ready a weapon, or
Yeah, if Ratatouille, if they're going to chase Ratatouille, they'll come to us. So yeah, I'll ready.
you probably don't know if they've even seen Ratatouille or not.
No,
You
but
know for sure they've seen Alexis.
I know that he's cast a spell though.
Yeah.
I saw him do that. So I will ready right now. I'll ready a weapon.
Okay.
My Naginata.
Does anybody else want to do anything?
Yep, likewise, I'll ready my mace.
Okay.
Load the sling.
All right. And
Shield and sword. Sword and board.
all right. Alendril gets ready with his bow. Okay. So round 1. Goblin 2, helpless, asleep. Goblin 3 asleep. Ratatouille.
I'll be signaling him to come to us.
Ratatouille could drop them again, do another 4.
But we have more to fight. That's all.
That's true. Okay, so he will.
Just don't want him to waste all his scrolls and spells on the first fight.
Yeah, I'll do a cantrip maybe. Let's see here. He doesn't have any on his sheet. All right, let's do. Okay, so he scoots back over here, does a double move, and gets out of sight. Goblin 7 asleep.
That's also in character. Good job.
Goblin 10. This guy here turns around, stands up, and pulls out a dog slicer and looks around. He eyes Alexis, and he moves to there, and he starts yelling at you, something in Goblin. And Ratatouille translates and says, "She called you a Longshanks." Goblin 8.
Quivering in my boots.
Yeah, exactly. Goblin 8. Where are you? There we are. Same thing. Takes him a minute to get his bearings and kind of steps over here. Doesn't really even notice that his compatriot has fallen asleep. Goblin 1 also steps out like so. Darsel. Your hatred blow. I think you got. I don't know if we ever made an effect for hatred for you. I read your sheet the other day, and you get some damage against these guys. I think
You hate goblins?
yeah, you got +1 to attack rolls against humanoid creatures of the orcs and goblin subtype. So let's make you an effect for that. In case you want to attack a goblin, Darsel.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Nah, I'm good.
Right away, who's in there? If you move 20,
Yep, you can move 20.
can't reach anybody from there, but okay.
Just
Now,
don't block up the hallway.
well, that's exactly it.
You want I can't see my screen right now. I'm in the kitchen. This is the nice thing about wireless headphones.
Yeah.
So if you're not blocking up, then you're fine.
You need a wireless display too, so you can walk to the kitchen with it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay,
So
you're good.
I'm locked and loaded.
Okay.
I'm back.
Get you to pass your turn if you got nothing else on us.
Oh yeah. It's been a while.
Yes, it has. And once again, thanks for hanging in there, guys. Goblin 9. Goblin 5. Goblin 5 notices he's between two goblins that are asleep, and he's curiously trying to sort out what happened. Alendril.
It's not squeezed anymore.
Nope, not squeezed anymore. I will take that off. And Alendril takes the first shot of the combat. As is always the tradition for the person who isn't here.
Yep.
And it's a miss.
Yeah. He wasted the first arrow.
Yep. He didn't draw first blood. He's no Rambo.
No.
Mims. I think you might be on mute.
Yeah, I am on mute. I was just trying to click. And then I have to click a target button.
If you, I think it's control click, you can select.
Oh, okay. Just a quick question.
Yes.
Can I move Alendril? No, you need to move Alendril to where I was.
Oh, I moved the wrong guy, did I? Okay.
You moved me. There you
Okay,
go.
cool. There we go. Thank you.
I'm looking like, well, how can I see in there? Where did my guy go? Where did he go? Where did he go?
Mims targets Goblin 10. She's got a clear shot. She takes it. And Darsel, right by your ear.
Lousy shot.
Just misses. And it goes into the wall of nettles. Darsel looks back. Is there a goblin back there? No. She's not sure where that came from. Let's take Sundancer off for the moment.
Yeah, because Sundancer's not part of the combat.
All right.
Everybody just disappeared except for me. I don't know if that was intentional.
Yep, everybody just disappeared except for me.
Yeah. You gotta close it and click on the icon again, something like that. Yeah,
I
that
rolled
looks like
really
you-
well in stealth.
Yeah.
Do you guys can you click on your guy?
There it
Or?
goes.
There we go.
I had to end the turn from him.
Yeah, if you close it and reopen it, that
Yep.
works too.
Yep, that fixed it.
Yeah, there we go. Did indeed.
Grab button. Come on. Zooms back across.
All
I
right.
don't know how to make that go away. No, and I cleared the whole window. Good job, me.
That's all right. You're good. Rampa.
I was trying to make the arrow go away.
All right. 5, 10, 15. All right. I don't know if you hit one or not, but I'm going to target.
The goblins look unwounded. Some of them are asleep. Some of them look confused. These four guys up front look like they're ready to fight.
Well, won't
What?
have any argument for me.
Naginata gets caught in the brambles.
So did I.
Our party's doing great. 2-1.
2 1s. 2 1s and a 7.
This could be a quick battle.
Yep.
Not in our favor.
Anything else, Rampa?
No. Oh, sorry.
That's all right.
I forgot.
That's okay. Goblin 4.
Why does squeezing say on? I turned it off. There we go. Do I have to turn it off every round? I guess I do.
I don't think so. Maybe.
Yeah, it just popped on for me and I didn't touch it. So
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Never mind. I'm good now. I deleted it. I can
Okay.
put it back on later.
Okay, sounds good. Let's see. Goblin 4. Goblin 6 is asleep. Goblin 3 is is awake, I think. No, he's between. He's confused too, but two goblins falling asleep beside him. Alexis.
that square isn't squeezing, right?
That square is not squeezing.
That's a move action, and I guess since I can attack a goblin, I might as well. Goblin 10
Draw
doesn't
first
appear,
blood.
doesn't appear to be sleeping, right?
No, goblin. These four guys at the front are awake. Four of these
fight-
guys
Was
still in the back are asleep,
Yeah.
and three guys
You
are
can
awake.
tell by the little white square. The ones that are sleeping have the white squares.
There we
Yeah.
go. There we go.
Gotcha. Is there an effect I can put on for fighting defensively?
No. There is. I'd have to make one. Let's see here.
Well, just take -4 off and add two to your armor class.
Yeah, exactly. So let's see here. ATK.
Is it -4 to hit for
Mi-
fighting defensive?
yeah, -4 and comma AC
You get 2 to
plus
your AC.
2. There we go. That should do it.
So you oh, I see. You put it on there. Gotcha. All right, so it's on, so I should do nothing, and it'll apply properly, correct?
Yep. If my syntax is correct, we should be good to go.
There's a syntax that's against alcohol and cigarettes.
Don't I know it?
Yeah. Oh, we all know it.
Does that work out with your pluses and minuses, right?
It looks like it adds properly.
Okay, great.
I don't think 11's enough, but +2 to AC might be helpful.
What I can do is I can go maybe spell it properly and then that. There we go. All right. Then you should have that effect at all times, in theory.
I can turn it off when I want to fight normally.
I believe so. Can you
Yeah.
try it right now? Or maybe because I put it on, maybe you can't.
Yeah, it's not letting me do anything with it, but we can. I have a feeling with me being in front that I'm gonna.
Okay. Well, let me know when you want to turn it off, and I'll turn it off
Yeah.
for you. Any other actions? Acciones?
That was it. That was full round.
Okay, so
No
these
menu
goblins, let me give you the layout of them. They have equipment-wise, gear. They look like this. For maybe anybody who hasn't seen the Pathfinder goblin, in particular for Lou, the Pathfinder goblin is the iconic goblin monster.
Your face only a mother could possibly love.
Yeah, exactly.
And maybe not even that.
These guys are rocking small dog slicers, which are just like little homemade cleaver kind of things. Their armor is the equivalent of leather, and they have light wooden shields. Now, does anybody have like knowledge nature or knowledge local?
Yeah, Alendro.
Okay, yeah, Alendril does, but he's not really in the fight.
No, okay.
Alexis or Rampa or Darcel in particular, I'm
No.
looking at. No,
Religion
me.
and nobility.
Knowledge.
Do these strike me as noble goblins?
no, they don't.
A noble goblin. What a concept.
Planes, history, arcana, and nobility. Sorry. And religion, of course.
They all look similarly attired. We'll leave it at that. All right. Is it okay for me to pass it ahead, Ray? Or do you have other stuff?
Sorry, I forgot.
That's
It's been a
okay.
while.
Yeah, not a problem. I don't want to assume. Okay, so Dog Slicer moves up. The goblins Alexis, fighting defensively, wards off that goblin. No, that guy's asleep, right? Why did he? That guy shouldn't have rolled. This guy here is asleep. This guy here is asleep. Ratatouille. Ratatouille's doing Ratatouille things. Asleep. Goblin 10 is the fighting with Alexis. Offer shield. Goblin 8 now steps forward and takes the roll that he missed with. Goblin 1. Goblin 1 is right there. He starts yelling at Goblin 5. Not really sure what's going on there. Rada speaks Goblin. Anybody else speak Goblin? Darsel?
I believe I do. Let me check. Yes, I do.
Okay, so Goblin 1 is yelling at Goblin 5, telling him to stand up and get in the fight, and Goblin 5 is yelling at Goblin 1 and says, why aren't you yelling at Goblin 7? There's using names. Like, why are you yelling at this guy? This guy's asleep. Why are you yelling at this guy? Why are you yelling at me? And they're kind of going back and forth.
Oh, be nice if they start fighting each other.
Darsel.
Hey,
I'm just afraid they're going to wake each other.
yeah, true.
Like it's the moment of 5 more minutes, Mom.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
can I squeeze in through to the left?
Yeah, if you're going to the left of Rampa and Alexis, you'd be squeezing. So you would draw an AOO if you came into that space.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, maybe I'll stay back. Catch any of Alexis' body parts that come flying at me and hold them and tape them together when he comes back here. So that's it for my round.
Okay. Goblin 9 is where? So he's going to step into here and takes a swipe at Alexa. For now, he hasn't quite sorted out that there's a better target right behind Alexa. Goblin 5.
Yeah, if we both took a 5-step back, we'd have the bottleneck going pretty good. Huh?
Goblin 5 continues his argument with Goblin 1. Alendrill. He's got a bit of a line there. Goblin 9 has a bit of cover, but he takes a shot at him.
Got to hit something sooner or later.
You would think so. No, with the aiming
Later.
carefully, yeah. It goes into the brambles. Mims.
Well, she's gonna reload the sling.
Yeah, you don't have to spend an action to do that normally. Normally, it's just part of the sling attack. But yeah, you can have it reloaded for sure. Just for when it comes to like a more open combat where you don't want to have to spend an action to do it all the time. It's considered part of the shot. Which is an advantage
I
to
need to
using
be
the
in the
sling.
square, not halfway, right?
Yeah, that's fine.
And we're gonna take another shot. That one.
Oh,
Kidding me.
that's not it.
Yeah. Off the brambles.
That's not 2 1s in a row, is it?
No.
That is 2 1s in a row.
For you, yeah.
Yeah. That one almost gets Darcel and Alandril with the winging around of the sling, and the bullet almost gets Rampa.
No, holy crap. That's your
We're going to have lessons afterwards.
Who's gonna give them? We're all rolling like shit.
Yeah, exactly.
Can he get in the bush
Oh.
and dart in?
Oh yeah, easily. He could actually go through the bush.
Yeah. I'm gonna have to get his turn. Because it's making me have a separate turn for him. But yeah, like, stick his, reach out, nip it, and then, like, duck back into the bush.
Yeah, he can do that.
I don't know how you want me to have him do that, but
You could do do an attack.
he just gets one of them, doesn't he?
Yes, I think so. Yeah, he's moved more than 5 feet.
Nope.
All right. So he's back under cover.
Mhm.
Okay.
man.
Let me hit the button.
Rampa.
All right. I'm going to do a flurry of blows.
Aha.
There'll be a -1 on this.
Okay.
Good thing I
Attack
do
number
at least
1.
get two.
Ay, ay, ay.
Attack number 2.
At least I'm not rolling ones anymore.
Our attacks are actually very good. They're just ninja goblins.
The kung fu fighting has begun.
I tried to kick him and knee him, and I missed him both times.
So Goblin 4 move into the fray. He doesn't want to get involved in Goblin 1 and Goblin 5's shenanigans. And he takes a swipe at Alexis. Alexis, surrounded now.
Main things. I'm gonna attack Goblin 9 at this time.
Still fighting defensively?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
That looks familiar.
Goblin catches a shield.
So that's a standard action.
Yes.
I have a move action left, but I can't really do much with it, so I'm just gonna have some fun and imitate the gargles that they make in their goblin language, and knowing that I do not speak goblin. So it would be quote unquote an intimidate roll, but it's not enough time to make it official, so I'm just
Okay.
mocking them a little bit.
All right.
I
At
want
least you're
them to
rolling
attack.
double digits.
So that's not, I can't roll intimidate, but I'm just like, because that's all I hear them say.
Yeah, exactly.
You're calling him Langshanks?
All right, Goblin 2 asleep still. Goblin 3 asleep still. Ratatouille. He says, kill him, hurry up before the stupid goblins wake him up. Asleep.
Might need him to splash acid on him.
Goblin 10. Goblin 8.
Take a long time.
Yeah, this is going to be a battle, I'll tell you. Goblin 1.
The shield
Goblin
might
1.
need repairs, huh?
Goblin 1 gets right in Goblin 5's face. Starts pointing a finger and pointing at both these guys sleeping. And then the other guy over there sleeping. And the other guy over there sleeping. And then he steps over here. And he's still addressing his ire at number 5. But you can kind of tell that he's maybe coming to a conclusion that he might be able to wake them up. But he hasn't quite got there yet. Darcy.
Well, I can't get in there, and so far nobody's hurt, so I'll just stand around and watch the fun.
All right. So Tinder's in the bush, but Goblin 5 can fit into the same, or yeah, Goblin 9 can fit into the same space. So he books through and gets Alexis Nova in a flank. This is the most clever goblin of all of them. But unfortunately, he's not having much luck. And his dog slicer gets caught in the same bramble that Tinder's hiding in. Goblin 5. Goblin 5 steps up here, and he's going back and forth with Goblin 1. And Darcy, you're hearing them. They're blaming each other for these guys being asleep instead of waking them up.
I'm just laughing uncontrollably.
And Alendril draws a dagger as he moves. And
Does he have a kukri?
he's got a silver dagger.
Oh.
Actually, he's got a short sword. Short sword's probably a more effective weapon at this spot. There will be blood, he says.
Anything that hits would be helpful. Yeah, there you go. Finally.
I'm going to say that this is also sneak attack worthy. Just because of the confusion and the amount of people around, there's no way he can really defend himself specifically against Alendril. It kind of came out of nowhere. And where is that short sword? And Alendril slits his throat.
Ace.
First blood. That's the first one we've hit too.
That was the smartest goblin of the bunch. Mims.
Third round of combat, and we finally get a hit.
Mm-hmm.
Jeez.
So, nope, not on that one. There we go.
Ah, very nice. Let's see here. Goblin 10. If you, let me see. It's been a bit since I've done this. If you take the spell, if you open up the hourglass, there should be a cast on Flare, and it won't be, the DC's wrong, I think, here. It should be 13. Class DC.
Open hourglass on it? There.
Yeah, let's see here. Why isn't the fortitude save 13?
I don't know.
Just 1 second. I think I have to. Yeah, I see the reason. There we go. It should be 13 now. Okay, so if you take the cast button and you drop it right on him, it should do his save. Excellent. Perfect. Not a great result, but a perfect casting. And you get unlimited. You can do that all day long too, so it doesn't cost you any of your stuff. So
Hit
that
the next, so it'll go on to Tinder.
Yes. And can you do you have access to Tinder from there?
I do.
Okay, I didn't know if the dead goblin was impeding your movement. So Tinder can move through the brambles, like even deeper into the, if he wants, without.
He's gonna want to go across though.
Okay.
If he goes by me, he can come in the brambles. Yeah,
Yeah.
like that.
Do I get a good look at Tinder as the passes?
Yeah, actually, I don't know if a good look. You just kind of see like a flash of it's green. He's green, right? Green and with
He's green.
some sparkly blues and reds and stuff like that in there.
Is he tiny sized or?
Yes.
Tiny.
Tiny. Okay.
Tiny. He's the size of maybe an iguana.
MVP right there.
Oh yeah,
Woohoo!
that's a critical hit.
You earned a
Big
new name.
damage.
He's, Tinder the Goblin Killer now.
All right.
Yeah, 1 point of
Since he
damage.
moved, he only gets the one hit. Yes.
Yes.
Okay. It's like my first chompy target got to eat.
So you see this little flash of movement between your legs, guys, Alexis and Rampa. Alexis is probably more focused forward. Rampa, you see like a flash of light and green and into the bush, and then boom, this goblin yanks his foot back like he stepped on something sharp.
And a hearty hi-ho silver. Okay. What is this? Let me see if I got him. Where's Goblin 10? Okay.
Goblin 10's right in the middle.
Yeah, no, I want the one on the left. I just changed who I'm attacking.
Goblin 4?
Yep.
All right. Just barely missed. That one caught off his shield.
Wow.
You can tell you're in the neighborhood of hitting him. If it didn't have a shield, you probably would have crushed his skull.
All right.
Goblin 4.
Yeah, I'll see you there.
Yeah, Goblin 4 steps into the zone of death and attacks Rampa as you just attacked him. And he misses with his little dog slicers. He tries to stab through. Alexis.
I'm gonna attack Goblin 4.
Okay. Oh, still a hit.
It didn't roll damage, so I have to roll it now, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So during that move action remaining part of my turn, I shout, 2 of you are down. The rest could live if you surrender.
Oh, no, don't say that.
In
All
common?
right, it's a paladin thing to do, right? So,
I understand that.
In the common tongue?
yeah, it's don't let the Varisian or Tien Min. I don't think they speak either of those, so we'll go with common.
Okay. Let me see if they speak common. They haven't been speaking in common so far. You don't seem to get much of a reaction. Are you trying to make it intimidate too?
I can't. I use the standard action to attack. So
Alrighty.
I'm just shouting out. If they continue to attack, then I'll take that as a no, and we can continue killing them.
Okay, so at this moment, and Ratatouille, Ratatouille's back here. He's checking something out. Sneaking. You know how Rata gets. Sometimes his attention wanders.
He's a rat.
Down a piece of cheese.
Asleep. And Goblin 10. Goblin 10 doesn't react to your offer. Instead, he attacks. Just like waves against your shield. Goblin 8 looks down on the ground, but Tinder's slipped back into the bush and doesn't really see what it was, but he takes a wild hack at Alexis.
Wow.
Goblin 1 kicks Goblin 2. Which wakes him up. And then he points back at Goblin 5. And they're having a just the biggest disagreement, and then Goblin 2 wakes up, but technically Goblin 2 is prone and has to recover weapons and all that stuff, so I'll just throw that on him quickly. All right. Darsal. So the goblins are just about to have their eureka moment 5 rounds later.
I think I'm stirring a little bit. I'm going to take a step up. Let's see if I...
You've got a almost clear path there with dead goblins in front of Alendril.
Brambles. I'm going to step up target Rampa. If I do this right. Yep, I did that. And I'll throw a guidance on Rampa.
Awesome. Nicely done. So,
Good.
the effect should be on the
Yeah, okay.
perfect.
I'll get it out. Imbues the subject with the touch of divine guidance. A creature gains a +1 confidence bonus on a single attack roll, saving throw, or skill check. You must choose the bonus before making a roll to which it applies, and it lasts for a minute.
Okay, so
Okay.
what you do is you see that you open up the hourglass on the spell beside guidance, and it'll open up. It'll say cast, attack, all that stuff. If you take the
Yeah.
little man effect and drag it right onto a rampa, either on the combat tracker or the miniature, it'll give him that effect.
All right, so I'll throw the dice, right?
That's
And
already good. You have to
right.
open the guidance spell with the little hourglass,
Yeah.
and
Okay.
then you see the effect and all the text and stuff like that. Take that little man effect button and drag it right onto Rampa,
Um,
onto his mini.
That was easy. Um, okay. Where's the little man?
Okay, so you see the guidance spell, the cast. If you
Yep.
go over to where the piezo symbol is, little piezo golem, there's a little. It almost looks like a magnifying glass. It's kind of on an angle. You click.
Right.
Yep.
That.
You click that, it opens it up, and then you see
Yep.
cast, attack, save, and then below you see effect. It's got a little man. That's
Oh,
a button.
of course. Finds the bat. So now I just got to find Rampa on the. There he is. So, okay. So if I drag that over to Rampa.
There we go.
Oh, there we go.
Touchdown. Nicely done, sir.
How about that?
It's a good use of guidance too. It's a good use of an
Finally
horizon.
waking up. Yep.
And Lord knows I need guidance.
Excellent.
I
Darcy,
remember Blaze
no.
was using that every other turn, right? You guys remember that?
what sort of advice does Darcel have for Rampa in this instance? What's his guidance?
See that learning something from a dwarf. Yeah. Okay.
I think he's screaming, hit something, hit something, anything.
Don't screw up. Okay.
Goblin 5. Goblin 5, in the middle of his brouhaha with Goblin 1, moves over here and kicks Goblin 3. Like, you kick him, I'm going to kick him. You think it's my fault? It's his fault. He kicks Goblin 3. Goblin 3 wakes up. He is now prone. Alandril reaches down to his belt and flings a dagger at Goblin 5. Let's see here. Not the silver one. Nope. That's the only one he has. Okay, so he sheathes the short sword and retrieves his composite longbow and steps back. And he says to Mims, "We've got a clear line." Now we've got
I can shoot it.
now we've got targets that are clear. Like 5. He's pointing to like Goblin 5, Goblin 6, and Goblin 2, or 7 and 1.
Stay put, sir.
5 is probably the best target because he's not lying down on the ground. Goblin 10's in combat, so he'd be harder to hit.
Yep. try this again.
It's a narrow miss. It goes whizzing by his head, and it almost kind of wakes him up to the fact that there's a fight going on, instead of this argument that I've got going on with Goblin 1. And Tinder.
Well, he's got a friend really close. Crunch. Miss.
And he's got a second one, too. He can...
Nope.
Nope.
Miss with the tail.
Okay. And he slides back under cover.
Yep.
Rampa.
I can give him an AOO.
Yep, okay, I was going to say. Did you know about the AOO?
I do.
All right. Let's have a look here. Dog slicer for you, sir. Just missed, I think. Probably not.
Yep, it misses.
Oh, I know he misses. I don't know about the just part.
Not quite just, but
For the narrative. Rampa. Ooh,
well, he's not going to like me.
not going to like you at all. Goblin 10. Gets ginsued. This is going to be bad. Real bad for Goblin 10.
Yep. 17.
Alexis gets some of Goblin 10 in her hair.
It washes out.
Nicely done,
Oh,
Rampa.
sorry.
That's
Yep,
okay.
yep.
Lexus.
Well, looks like Goblin 8 is going to get it, I hope.
Still fighting defensively, or are you going to click it down this time? Don't let the DM talk you into anything.
I think with them not being directly at me, they could always turn around and get. I'll keep it up.
Okay.
This is she's normally going to fight, so for this time we'll do it. Keep it.
Okay. Look at you. Fishing for crits.
Ow.
Almost. Oh.
Oh,
Still enough, not enough to save Goblin 8's life as he screams out in pain just before he dies.
it's about time we finally start hitting things.
That's 15. So I'm still quote unquote fighting defensively. I'm moving forward, tactically, shield raised, sword in hand, bloody sword in hand.
Okay.
Goblin ooze all over it. You're
So-
next.
So the Goblin 2 is prone on the ground. Doesn't have a weapon in hand. Goblin 1 has weapon in hand, is standing up. Goblin 7 still asleep. Goblin 6 still asleep. Goblin 5 weapon in hand, standing up. Goblin 3 no weapon in hand, prone on the ground. There's a considerable amount of yelling going on. There's a clash of steel. There's screams in Goblin. Even from Goblin 2, he gives you a derogatory long shanks in the common tongue as he reaches for his dog slicer and attempts to stand up, drawing an attack of opportunity from Alexis.
Goblin 2, correct?
Yes.
So I can target him. This still counts as fighting defensively with the AOO,
Yep.
right?
Yeah, it
Okay.
does,
Yep.
unfortunately.
You can only change that on your turn.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, that's what I was making sure was consistent.
Yep. Same idea as power attack. That's still a hit, though.
Good shot.
Oh, Goblin 2 never
And stay down.
does get up. Goblin 3 tries to stand up from prone, but Rampa has moved
Yep.
into the area.
Gives me my AO.
The eyes of a predator.
Actually, it'll be 4 more than that, too. Still not going to hit.
14
Yep.
against a prone opponent is a hit.
Oh, okay. No, 14, that's with a +4.
Oh, you've already got the prone in there?
Yeah.
Okay.
I rolled a 10.
Okay, yeah, I've got prone on him already, so the effect of prone is already calculated into the attack.
Yeah, well, I rolled a 6, so I'm back to single digits.
Okay. So, no longer prone. and has a weapon in hand for Goblin 3. Doesn't have a... Okay, so that's all the actions he can take.
We can take a 5-foot step, but basically, yeah, he's done.
Yeah. Rada is...
Still playing with that piece of cheese.
dealing with something unusual here.
Or not.
Goblin 7. Still managing to sleep through all of this. Goblin 6. Same. Goblin 1. Kind of was sort of oblivious to you guys up till this point, but he now spins and attacks Alexis. Instead of waking his companion, which would have been the smarter move, but it's a goblin. Darcel.
Wow.
Let's look at this smorgasbord for you.
Yeah. I can't reach any of them with my 20 movement.
What
but
you may I offer a suggestion?
Uh-oh.
You could use the charge action.
Yeah, I can, but if I charge, then I can't attack, right?
Oh yes, you can.
You can.
You can move up to twice your movement, make an attack at +2 to hit, but your armor class drops by -2.
Oh, okay. Well, then I'll charge up to the easy target, which is Goblin 3.
Yes, Goblin 3 is is no longer the easy target. He's stood up from prone.
Yep. Okay. Well, this could be fun.
Okay, so add +2 to hit.
Okay. 2 to that. Right. And like I say, I had ready was my mace. Okay.
That was like being a waiter at a restaurant. May I make a wine suggestion, sir? That's a strike.
So I hit him. And for how much?
Oh. Darcel comes in with a heavy blow
Just
and
enough.
crushes the goblin's shoulder, and its dog slicer hand goes limp.
Well, I got his attention.
Definitely.
Yep. Okay. And finish my turn.
Goblin 5. Goblin 5 sees where he's at. He knows he's in trouble, so he thinks tactically. And does a 5-foot step and wakes Goblin 7 and Goblin 6. Goblin 5, 30 seconds later, had a eureka moment that sometimes goblins get. This guy had leadership written all over him. But he might not live to fulfill that potential. Alandrill. Alandrill's got his bow out now. He steps to here. He's got a perfect shot at Goblin 5. He notes his leadership qualities. And knows taking him out is important. But he misses and he curses. He curses his kid's baseball practice. Mims.
All right.
Or is it the trip to the cottage? He curses his trip to the cottage.
Could be there.
He's close.
It's all clear targets from here.
We hit.
Oh, yeah.
It hit.
That's a hit.
Minimum
Boom.
damage, but I hit it.
Yeah, that gets his attention. Alandrill's arrow is completely ineffective at that, but boom. A rock in the back of the head sure does.
So Goblin 7 is still down?
Goblin 7 is on the ground. He's awake, but prone. Same with Goblin 6. They don't have
have a
weapons in
question.
hand. Yes.
And I don't know if it's going to go well. If
Couldn't go wrong.
Tinder skitters up Mim, glides to Alexis, and then glides over them to the bush behind 7. I don't know if he can make it that far, but he might be able to.
The bush behind 7.
Yeah, the bush behind Goblin 7.
Oh, okay. So
He wants to use Mim to get high enough to glide to Alexis and then.
okay. Does he have acrobatics or like a jump or something like that?
I know he's got. Because he does. He could acrobatics, but he has the fly.
Yeah, because it's like a 10-foot jump.
But he can glide though.
Mm-hmm.
Because it lets him.
There's an amount of sinking involved with the glide.
Yeah, that's why he wanted to get from Mim to try to grab onto the back of Alexis.
Okay, he can do that this round for sure.
Okay.
He can't continue on past.
Nope, but he's climbing up the back of Alexis.
Okay, so Alexis can kind of feel something now in her hair and on her shoulder and on her pack.
So I'm focused on the goblin threat.
Yes.
If
You-
the creature's on the pack, I may not notice it.
How heavy is your armor?
The armor's pretty well. I mean, it's scale mail. So,
It's scale mail. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. See, let's do a perception check. We'll
Yep,
call it just
yeah.
a standard DC 10.
Okay. Find it real quick. Perception.
Okay.
Probably
You don't
don't
even
even
notice.
That works. That's probably the intended result anyway.
Yeah, exactly. Rampa.
5, 10, 20. I'm going to attack Goblin 3.
You kind of use Darsal as a pole, so like
I did.
a dancer. You swing around Darsal.
Unarmed attack.
So you still have guidance on you, right?
It only lasts for 1 round, I believe.
No, 1 minute.
1 minute.
No,
So-
it's the next time you make your attack, which he did with his Naginata, and he killed the goblin.
Oh, I see, okay.
Yeah, it expires as soon as you make that roll.
Use it. Okay.
Okay, I thought it's only if I declared I was taken.
It is, but if
I don't have a problem with it.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it. That's gone. And I missed. And I'm done.
Alexis.
Gonna attack goblin 1 with the long sword, still fighting defensively. Probably not okay, and then I'll 5-foot step beside here.
All right.
Yeah, that'll work. That's it. Does the creature stay on rested on Alexis?
I think
Does
so,
that
yes.
matter?
Yep.
Yeah.
Darsal, you can see it now. You see there's something. You've seen flashes of. You
Yeah,
see it out in the open. It's like a fancy winged iguana.
Very strange.
Damnedest thing you ever seen. Goblin 3. While you're looking at the fancy winged iguana, Goblin 3 swings a dog slicer at you, but you catch your attention and bat it away.
Actually, it was probably attacking either me or Darsal.
He was after Darsal.
Okay.
Yeah, but Darsal saw the winged iguana on
Oh, I see.
on
Okay.
Lexus, yes.
No, I thought you were having him attack Alexis. Okay. No, Darsal saw it. Okay.
Okay, Goblin.
I got you.
Goblin 7 stands up from prone. Is that too far for an AOL? I think it is, isn't it?
No, it's not.
Okay, so let me put prone back on, and you can, if you want.
That's why
'cause there's going to
that's why
be
I position myself there. Absolutely.
There's going to
do.
be another. Okay, so that's a hit.
Yeah.
All right. Do you have combat reflexes too? The DM asks.
I do.
Excellent.
That's why I positioned myself there.
Well,
He wants
you,
to.
Goblin 6 does the same thing because he's not too bright. And
meets the same fate.
With a whirl around Darsal and blinding quickness, the Naginata slashes down both goblins before they stand. Goblin 1. Gets you guys in a secret double flank that doesn't count against anything.
The goblin.
But-
tactic, you know.
But, oh, if it did, it would have. And that's all you need to know. Darsal.
Wow.
That fighting defensively worked for you.
It did. And
Well,
and
the
going
normal armor class is 21, so
And-
that it puts it at 23. But
and-
yeah, it definitely was helpful.
yeah, and going back to back like that.
I'm gonna move right next to the flashy green thing, and still kind of looking at it with amusement. But I'll go after Goblin 1, and that takes me up. That took okay, and I'll whack at that.
All right. Oh, almost.
Didn't confirm, but I'll still hurt it.
You'll do
Oh,
more
yep.
than hurt it. Goblin 1
Is no more.
is no more.
Click yourself off, Randall.
Oh yeah, sorry. I was just so proud of myself.
All right, so Goblin 5, one of the other leadership candidates from the Bird Cruncher tribe, throws down his dog slicer and says to Goblin, "I surrender, Longshanks. I surrender. Don't kill me. Please don't kill me."
My goblin's rusty. I hear. Kill me now.
Darsal, you hear, "Don't kill me."
I said I heard
But you hate goblins.
in here. I heard something about kill me.
All right. Goblin 5, he's thrown down his weapon. He's unarmed. Alendril takes this opportunity. Seeing an unarmed goblin. Not quite understanding the language. Well, he almost hurts himself.
Shoot yourself in the foot.
Yeah, exactly. Got too excited there. Mims.
Shifts.
Mims definitely doesn't speak Goblin, so she doesn't know that.
Oh.
Oh.
Yeah, he was definitely saying, "Kill me now." Here's an open target.
So actually, no, technically that is because he's dropped his shield and he's just got +2 on his armor class. No dexterity bonus. So you can roll another damage and that will simulate a critical hit.
Wrong one.
You should take it.
Yeah, that's the wrong.
That's okay. So that's going to put him at right in the side of the face. Goblin goes down to the ground. Goblin 3, I don't know what's been happening with him, but he's just been collecting wounds. He must be dead because he's got 27.
He was dying.
Okay, so if he's dying, he's dead.
Yeah.
And the room of death goes quiet for the moment.
Tender. He skitters back across.
All right. And what we'll do is we'll put a peg in it here. I will award you your experience points if you just want to hang out for 2 minutes. I've got to do a couple things yet, and
As far as I know, we didn't take any wounds at all.
no, you guys are unharmed. They
He's
Alexa's going to spend a minute discussing with Rampa how that tactics worked, so that as we get closer, we get better and better. You know, I think we did well, but with the bottleneck and everything, so just
So you
Yes,
guys
the
are
bottleneck worked.
quite close to level 4, so probably or level 3. So plan for it for the end of next session. But good start back, guys.
yeah.
Yep.
That was fun.
Gonna ask Ratatouille if he knows prestidigitation. Can help me get this blood out of my face.
Ratatouille right now is staring down into a 100-foot hole. The sounds of waves lapping below, and he thinks he might have seen something. But we'll pick that up next time.
All right. Well, it was good. And it is good to be back.
Yes, it
Yeah,
is.
thanks.
Thanks for
Glad
sticking
you're
with me,
feeling better.
guys.
Glad you're feeling better. We can-
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right. And welcome to the game, Lou.
Yes, welcome, Lou, and it's good to see you all. Good to talk to all you guys again.
All right.
Clean up with
Good
the,
night.
Have a good night.
cookie crumb trail.
Yeah. And for you Ontarians, have a good long weekend next week.
Yes, you too. You going to the cottage, Rapa?
Yep.
Excellent. Very good.
All right. Talk to y'all later.
All right.
Night.
Take care, guys.